Millia. Of course, Millia, one of the mix-up queens of +R, and Sol, well, he just wants to duff you, and if Millia gets duffed, it ain't gonna feel good. So let's see what Burrito and Myrtle have on hand for us here.
Ready? Both players just feeling each other out, keeping their distance, getting a little beat on how they want to approach, but a nice preemptive jump P. MurtleisJordan gets first blood, a little bit of damage, but no hard knockdown from either one. So both these characters really want to get some big pressure going off of the Oki.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing very respectful. I like this, especially first match in a tournament. You kind of want to feel out, get your legs under you a little bit. Going to go in with the hairpin for Burrito and does earn the burst by going for a force break disc combo immediately back in. And we're going to get our first knockdown if we can complete the combo here. And the mix begins. All right, very respectful start there from Burrito. Didn't want to get Volcanic Vipered out of their first set of Oki, but for now, Myrtle does escape and we go back to neutral.
Yeah, a lot of times going off the clock already, but it looks like Burrito's finding the most hits out of it all. Burst is almost back here for MurtleisJordan. We're going to see the secret guard in the backdash to evade the uppercut, and that's going to be able to get that first round. Great awareness and setup for Burrito.
Yeah, I like that. Showing two mix-ups right off the gate. First, we got the standard disc Oki in the corner. We go the other way, put on the secret garden, play respectful, bait out the upper, and a round one win for Burrito, and already off to a pretty solid start here in round two. But again, with Badguy on the screen, your life bar is always in peril, so just looking to pick up the hairpin there, get back to neutral. Nice 6P for the anti-air, and we're going to go to the corner. Secret Garden mix up once again. Immediate low, Burrito connects, and we are going to go do it again. Force break disc into the overhead, and should be able to close this out. The nice double dust, and a beautiful perfect there. Burrito takes a convincing game one after we got out of neutral there.
Oh yeah, played that like perfectly to a T, understanding like every little option a player like Sol Badguy has. Like one character, like you always got to be wary knocking down. He has such great reversals to bust out of those moments, but always just having that right amount of space, using the right hitboxes on some great normals, and just making sure the pressure is always there, but enough of a threat to think that you can escape out before you get got.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that Millia players often struggle with when they're learning a character is dealing with characters who don't necessarily have to respect her Okis. So good awareness there to bait out any shenanigans. But right now, a nice turnaround, and Myrtle gonna do the big damage with the Sidewinder combos. That was a grip, and you are dead, my friend. That's what +R is all about, friends. A dominating game one, and then just immediately, hey, I want that perfect back, and I want it now.
Yeah, just beautiful. That's just the beauty of a matchup like this. Death by 1,000 cuts versus just a one haymaker coming through. And already looks like Burrito is just trying to find their footing once more here. Doesn't want to get hit by one of these big hits, but the wild throw. This is where we're going to get our damage with those clean hits. Sidewinders, happy feel life gone. The scaling is there, but one more of those can spell doom.
Oh, a little early on the wild throw, but goes up and gets the air grab, a classic Badguy play. One of his best anti-airs is just to go up and grip you. Nice roll through from Burrito, though, and we're going to start the mix. All right, nice block, but doesn't block the low, but an immediate challenge from Myrtle. Very nice, but a little early on the 5K. Gets thrown for the trouble. Opts to burst, wants to close out this game two right here and now and avoid a round three, but to get a knockdown. Nice FD jump to get out, but Burrito immediately back in. We're going to go to the corner and start the mix. Wow, RC catches the sweep just barely. Very nice. We're down to a final bit of pixels here, but Burrito's in, gets the throw. What's going to be the play? Gonna take it to the corner. Probably won't kill here, but we'll get the mix. And the TK Bad Moon. Burrito runs it all the way back. We have an even game two at one round apiece, and Burrito looking to close out this first set.
I'm wondering anything about that there, but early DP there for Myrtle's gonna at least get something out of this guy. Rip it again. Starting to show a little bit of fearlessness. Sometimes those uppercuts are gonna make their mark, even if a person's trying to cover that. But right now, Burrito lost a lot of life. Little air blocking, doing a good job, putting the rear pressure. Right stamp, good block there from Burrito, but now has to be extra careful here.
Yeah, Myrtle spending almost all the cash there to get in with Gunflame FRC. Doesn't reach, but a counter hit Volcanic Viper, and now we have the corner and what's the play. Watch that guard gauge, and there would be a burst. No, thank you, was going to be burst safe anyway at that range with the Sidewinders. So Myrtle turns it around, and we have an even set at a game apiece.
Yeah, it's the second time. Looks like Burrito just trying to roll through Gunflame, but Gunflame being a projectile that doesn't have a bottom to it, right? It's from middle to all the way down. So if you try to sneak past that, you're going to get lit up. Counter hit too, which just let Myrtle pick a combo option of your choice. It's what dictated round 1 of game 2, round 3 of game 2, and now once more game number 3 here to see who can advance a little bit further in the bracket. As we're starting to put out some different tools we haven't seen yet in the previous games. Some of those bandit bringers just trying to find a chunky hit and start getting a nice life lead for Myrtle, but Burrito now with good spacing, taking their time once again, find a jump in, but couldn't continue and find a knockdown.
Yeah, absolutely. So both players, again, kind of being respectful again, but as you mentioned, we're showing some new wrinkles, throwing out some new moves. You know, we had the quick adjustment from Myrtle in game 2, and now Burrito looking to add their own layer back on. Gets the anti-air, but nothing doing, but stays in with the force break sidewinder. Ooh, nice catch with jumping heavy, but the Bandit Revolver crosses up, so nothing doing. So Burrito does escape, but is a pretty healthy life deficit. Really needs to get a knockdown start in the mix here. We're nickel and diming, not quite able to do Oki there before we punish the Grand Viper. Not in time, but good patience. Baits out the follow-up uppercut. Ooh, but big drop there. Could have got the Oki going. Go back to neutral.
Yeah, just picking those perfect spots, but just like they say that, MurtleisJordan finds a small little hit. Life totals are pretty much even here. The meter, though, is good on Burrito's side. A gold burst, though. Myrtle, with all the bar in the world, can play with anything. We're not going to see... Oh, yes, we are! Oh,
oh wow. Bold. I applaud the boldness. Turn on Dragon Install while staring at a disc with no fear, but unfortunately one fear does arise, and that's the disc has a very active hitbox. So see, Burrito up 1-0.
Everybody that memes on Strive of Kai doing Dragon Install immediately dying, Soul did it first.
Absolutely.
It spans generations.
Yeah, no, this is the OG Dragon Install, but Burrito into the corner, does the Secret Guard Nogi. Good defense, but eventually it's not just one mix-up, it's not even 2, it's 3 or more with Secret Garden. Nice crossover to steal the corner.
Right, a little bit hero burst, I mean, that's the point, you have to do it.
Yep.
Gets a jumping. Knockdown's there. One last chance with the wild throw. MurtleisJordan's gonna have to secure the knockdown, but it's just a burst out. Burrito, air grab. MurtleisJordan runs up, but gets dead angled. Last chance.
Yeah. Burrito saying, nope, I don't want to deal with this, spinning the meter, getting away, and now just playing very cautious. But believe it or not, both characters are one touch away from this round being over, so you know Burrito's going to be a little careful to try and secure this win. 6P on the Riot Stamp, excellent anti-air.
Right and true. The man with the fan of the plan coming out here. Let's see what AceFalcon busts out.
Yeah, all right. So, Anji versus Soul is not an Anji player's favorite matchup, I can tell you that. And that is one of the reasons right there. It is very hard to utilize auto guard against this character due to a plethora of good lows that Badguy has. And, of course, Tick Wild Grab is a real problem. And an extra problem for Anji is he is one of the biggest Sidewinder hitboxes in the game. Soul gets every juicy combo on this character. And you're seeing that right now. MrPomegranX just going in relentlessly and says, I don't think I'm going to allow you to play the game this round, my friend.
Yeah, already could tell from the get-go, just like I could just put on this endless pressure. No problem with the OTG to finish it off. Busting through the guts. MrPomegranX just wants to get up and close and personal. Don't let Anji have some room for Fujin or able to throw out some of these longer range normals. We're just going to air dash in. You're not going to stop them. More knockdowns here with the low into a quick winder.
Yep,
and now
very
big jump in. Oh, that's going to be nasty after dust it.
Yeah, had to burn the burst there to stay alive. The classic Badguy mix-up. Just jump into late air dash or go low, and both are strong options against Anji. So that guard bar is cranked real high, and this should be more than enough to close it up. Nope, not quite, but the OTG. And that is a god match from MrPomegranX to start things off 1-0. So this matchup is very difficult for Anji. I would say it's probably in his top 3, top 4 most difficult matchups in this game. And you have to play very patient. You have to put a lot of tools you want to use in the back pocket and not go to them. Fujin is not great in this matchup because Soul gets dust. And we see that AceFalcon has decided, you know what? I don't think that's working too well. So let's go to the protagonist classic. Soul Badguy versus Kai, and ironically, not that big of a change in terms of the plan. Kai wants to create a wall and try and keep Soul out, but so far nothing doing. MrPomegranX is in and already taking 40% of that life bar away.
Yeah, no triple perfect though, so a little bit of stick and solace in that, but right now at this point, AceFalcon gets the RC, puts some more pressure in, but that quick corner Right step to get the knockdown. Big jump in with the jump slash. Do it again, but the 6P comes out. Reversing just to make a statement. Counter hit jump dust. Pick your poison for the finisher there. And now AceFalcon getting a couple of hits, but not getting a couple of hits doesn't really get you much in the streets here for plus R. You're gonna need some just clean hits, some good anti-airs, but AceFalcon getting hit by a big anti-air into some sidewinder loops. There's the dust. Gonna go for a combo off of the Bandit Revolver. Doesn't quite get it, but MrPomegranX. Oh, that was nasty.
That's nasty. The slash back just to make the statement. Says go back to the corner, my friend, looking to close out this set. One more hit away. Falcon, the slash back, the stun dipper, and MrPomegranX gonna take it in a convincing 2-0. Slashback is such a unique and interesting mechanic. All the webs, all the trees, and everything else that's going to be in the way.
Everything of that, just navigating that with the big guy. Never impossible, maybe a little difficult, but OmegaTomHanks understands the assignment already. A slide hit to get a knockdown to put TJ Brown in the corner here. She's trying to jump out. She finds her with a little bit of damage, able to set up some and trading places, which is probably the best thing, putting Potemkin in the corner.
Yeah,
just having the room set up as well.
Yeah, gets out of the corner, earns a burst, so that's always a plus when you're playing a character like Testament that's going to want to try and wall things out here, really pick their spots before they deal into that Oki. And here we go, just setting the skull, going to put the mark on to try and keep Potemkin from being able to do anything. Can't really hammer fall with the mark on you because you're going to eat a double hit projectile. And
the tree extension into some more damage. That was insane.
Goodness. What a conversion, but
Pot ain't dead yet, and like it says, it's never over until it says next round. Gets the Pot Buster, does it again, and that should be able to take it here. Not quite, hold on. Jump D, backdash, crouch and slash. What a finish and a comeback. OTH.
Yeah, I like the respect there from TomHanks. He gets one P-Buster, and it's like, okay, what are you going to do? You get hit grab me again, you're going to go low. Just an empty jump wait into the P-Buster, and there it is. All they need is 3 frames to get that going, and right now, TJ Brown on the back foot, kind of stuck in the corner here. TomHanks just zoning with those normals, holding the ground, threatening a Potemkin Buster, but a nice gold burst, but does not escape the corner in the process, and now, even with all that meter, a nice backdash through the P-Buster, though, and now TomHanks' poison has the mark on, and this could get nasty real fast.
Yeah, tough spot to be in here. There's a burst still available at the very least. They're going to use it for the gold burst. All this meter in the world. There's the FRC, but we punish with the Gravedigger. Gonna watch out, though. A dead angle can turn the tide for OmegaTomHanks, but they don't block the overhead. Pretty even all throughout here, but a super jump into the hammer fall is going to take the game. OmegaTomHanks off of a solid gold burst and some great reads to just bust down the door and take game 1.
Yeah, I like that play there. OmegaTomHanks kind of noticing that TJ is trying to backdash, which is a common thing you're going to do against Pot. If you're backdashing, you're in the air. You can't be Pot Bustered. It gets you out of range and some stuff. Hammerfall, on the other hand, is a chase down move, and it's got a massive hitbox on the end of that clap. So TomHanks says, I'm just going to let this rip. I've got an FRC if it gets blocked or whiffed, not the end of the world, and catches on that and takes the first game there. And pretty nice example of exactly how this matchup goes. Testament can be the control for 95% of this matchup, but one mistake gets knocked down. Testament is not a good defensive character. They do have Warrant, which is a 2-frame counter, but a counter that has to catch a normal to do anything isn't all that good against someone with a big command grab. That said, TJ Brown off to a nice start here in game 2. Gets about 40% life lead, and we're going to go back to the middle of the screen, but that Hammerfall gets the knockdown.
Yeah, armoring through. Just being able to bust down all the way through. Finds a super clean hit, some massive damage. And all the meter on OmegaTomHanks side going to have enough for an RC instead. Jump low into the Gigantor, into the mirror, getting a guaranteed Pot Buster. And now, match point on OmegaTomHanks to send TJ Brown into losers.
Yeah, no, real suddenly out of nowhere we are on match point. TomHanks just doing what a Potemkin player does, biding your time, using your health as a resource. Pot has the most health effectively in the game, can take a lot of small hits, and is just working his way in. And now TJ once again stuck in the corner, and she needs to get out. Gets the Warrant out though, takes the corner for herself, but the backdash into the challenge, TJ says nope. Oh, a nice air throw tech from both players. We go back to neutral.
Combo the Hammerfall again.
Yep.
FRC was too late though to defend. against the EXE Beast, and now TJ Brown with a huge chance, got both beasts, but the backdash gets caught instead. Now we trade places, Hammerfall for the finish. OmegaTomHanks clears the obstacle course, taking the set 2-0 over TJ Brown.
The meter that Haas needs to do his level 2 and level 3 moves, and XPHANTOM has taken that to the extreme and has proven to be an absolute terror in this game. So Burrito absolutely going to have their work cut out for him in this one.
Well, let's see. What is a Burrito to a Phantom? Let's see what hunger is there here. And already run up just IB on those 2P checks just to make sure Millia doesn't get close enough to start putting on pressure with close slash. The counter hit jump heavy. You're going to see that a lot as that big jumping button magical in its work, but instead we find a nice force break into the knockdown, set up this pressure, double air dash, finds a hit, but no combo.
Yeah, Phantom able to escape there with the 2P check and now steals the corner back, and we might see some of those new routes I was talking about. Just opts to take the knockdown, get the charge, and here's the real danger. Order Soul becomes one of the best grapplers in the game once he has you in the corner, because that's a free wall stick into a ton of damage, and Rocket goes in, back and forth, and eventually the crouching heavy with the overhead takes it. XPHANTOM up 1-0 in game 1.
I love that. It was a slight little low crush as well to go over the 2K that came out from Burrito. Now Burrito a spot that can't get their knockdown that they want to get, and now they're just under this heavy pressure. But they find a nice IB, they find some moments to make some space, they try to press in between the revolver, didn't quite work out, and now we're back to this neutral, throw the pin, a little bit of Lush Shaker, oh, but a quick turnaround.
Yeah, no, nice use of the run under there, gets the corner, and XPHANTOM does a grip of damage and is very close to closing out this first game. One more hit should do it. Burrito trying to fight back, does get the knockdown. What's the mix? Oh, misses a TK Bad Moon, unfortunately. Gets clipped by the Rocket. XPHANTOM goes up 1-0. Raph, what do you want to see from Burrito to try to adjust here? XPHANTOM's kind of getting to run ragged.
It's tough. I mean, Burrito is finding these little hits, but they're not just securing their knockdowns. I want to see them, when they get those knockdowns, commit to that mix-up, right? Phantom's going to have to guess like anybody else. Yeah, there's an uppercut there, but you have to have Phantom represent it before you have to really be scared of it. So if Burrito can find those small hits, make the most of it, but can't give up ground.
Yeah, absolutely, and you have to be prepared to deal with gun blaze, stuff like that. And nice air throw, not able to get any Oki because of the range of it though, but does get the knockdown with the sweep. Fails to pick up the hairpin and is going in without it and says, all right, I got to do it my own way here. The double cross up gets uppercutted for the trouble, and XPHANTOM escapes for now. But right now, Burrito going back into the throw. Go to the corner. XPHANTOM does have a burst available if they want to use it. Opts not to, says I can play defense just fine, and very good defense. Escapes the corner. And now goes back, kind of guarding the hairpin, trying to keep Burrito from getting that. Fafnir whiffs. Back in, and the hairpin.
Time though.
Yep, all right.
Force break disc in the air, gets the pin back, and a great round. There's the bad moon. One more guess. It's going to be a dead angle. Reverse off the jump over. Good escape as Burrito's taken to the skies plenty of times, using those double air dashes from Millia, but now has to be on defense, has to be extra careful here.
Yeah, trying to escape there with double back dash. Couldn't pick up the pin. It's now quartered, and Burrito staring down a big lot of pressure here. Managed to get back to neutral, throw them. Ooh, that was close. Hairpin almost gets clipped by Gunblaze, but we're safe out. Another knockdown. Nice challenge there. Saw the disc was not going to hit Meaty off to the challenge.
Ooh,
jumps over
wow.
Fafnir, though, and catches with the hairpin. Burrito on the board. 1-0 here.
Decision there. Using one of the strongest tools, right? The air projectile. It's fast. Staggers on counter hit. It works so well. But double overhead gets to snipe at the far slash. A little bit of damage coming out from XPHANTOM, who's not found as big a routes as game number 1, but a counter hit hairpin is the perfect chance here for Burrito. Set up the force break disc, go for a low with the crouch slash, try to get a grab, but XPHANTOM has been thrown enough and is starting to press that 2P in all those gaps.
Yeah, very good challenge button from Order Soul. It's one of the best ways to check pressure from the opponent, and Phantom using it there too. Excellent effect. Nice counter on the hairpin. Phantom with the turnaround goes and gets a first round in the second game, is on match point here in this set for Burrito. First blood in round 3, and you see again the immediate 2P check. Phantom says, I don't think you know how to deal with this. I'm going to keep checking you until you prove me wrong. But the hairpin once again doing what it does best. We get a corner knockdown. Nice delay to do the throw. We'll do it again. Phantom opting to not burst yet again. Says, no, I'll weather the storm. We'll get out of this corner one way or another. Nothing doing. Does check, though, and now we're out. And the hairpin is stuck in the corner currently. The slash back, but no punish. And the burst goes off. Burrito chasing down that hairpin, trying to get their best tool back on deck. And the knockdown is going to come here if we finish this combo.
Combo, it's fine though. 2S avoids the Dange with super jump, not a bad spot. But now watch out, there's some level 2 on deck, level 3 available for XPHANTOM. God has plenty of gun blazes ready to go, some rockets as well, or even the bandit revolver off the wall. Look at this conversion for some massive damage to corner cross up, and that should be enough.
Yeah, that's so filthy. That's so filthy when you get hit in the corner.
Top 8 winners, top 8 qualifier. Tmunny sending Jacob Pat to the losers.
Wow, okay, very wow. We told you it was going to be a bloodbath, friends. And speaking of which, we have an Assassin's Guild Classic on deck for you. Slayer versus Eddie. Yes, it's Eddie in this game. It wasn't Zato back to kill Xrd again, but Yurrie, of course, played this player quite a bit on net play. Very calculated Slayer. Loves to use the backdash cancels. Will catch you sleeping if you aren't paying attention to bite. But right now, GeoCities going in, looks for the unblockable, doesn't get it, but baits a burst and takes it immediate back to the The direct hit Dandy doesn't grip, doesn't get the stun, but GeoCities gonna have to be real careful now. You know that stun gauge got high from that.
Oh, Sawblade comes out. Now we're going to coast to coast. Run out of Eddie gauge though. Find the big hit off of there. Big bang upper, almost enough to do it. And watch out though. Have to FD here. The floor is lava, and these crouching heavies do so much. Takes it with a black meat combo off of just the anti-air sequence. That was a really good sequence there. GeoCities made it so impossible for Yurrie to find a way to land.
Yeah, really good patience there. Just waited and waited for Slayer to come down. Says, I'm going to get the anti-air, and if I get it, I can convert. Nice backdash cancel on the bite, but the immediate challenge from GeoCities. And nice call out on the force break. Dandy goes behind, looking for the super to catch. Nice block in the air, and Yurrie gets an air grab, takes the corner into the empty low. GeoCities with the immediate burst says, no, this is my corner, my friend, and you're going to hold this Eddie pressure. Good defense so far, but does get clipped by Nobiru, and that's going to hurt. GeoCities on the board.
I-being the back throw, OTG off that 2K, and really good stuff from just GeoCities. Playing as quick as you got to, not letting Slayer get in comfortably, and just utilizing both Eddie and Little Eddie so well.
Yeah, kind of
a lot. There's so much like negative edge and so much like articulation you need to pilot to a puppet character in a game is like as demanding as Plus R can be, and GeoCities really showing like that to such a high level.
Yeah, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. This is kind of an old school Eddie playstyle, very reminiscent of how Ogawa treats this character, where he looks at Little Eddie as not just the pressure and mix-up tool, but literally as a shield for Zato, and it's a way to play a pseudo-Shoto style game and kind of just create a wall that your opponent can never really get through. If you ever get counter-hit by a Nobiru or a random crouching heavy or whatnot, it really hurts. So we'll see if Yurrie can adapt here. Off to an okay start, we're kind of back to even. We go to neutral. Nice use of the 2D to kill Little Eddie. But the immediate 6D after the burst, GeoCities just going to try and stall out, get that 80 gauge back. It is back online, going to get the knockdown. Nice.
Nice. Crosswise heal.
Yep.
Great use of just the wake up Dandy steps in those little spots, but it's still not enough. The GeoCities gets the punish, almost finds the kill. 6 Heavy's not going to whiff as we flee the Footloose Journey for some extra damage. Anyone's round. Force break, pile bunker, and gets blocked into the air dash / heavy. GeoCities match point, weathering the storm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Canada like this is Mexico, bro. This is so cool.
Yeah, it looked like Yurrie was in really good shape there, but then one baited burst and a conversion, and suddenly it's match point, and already GeoCities has the corner. They're going in. If you hold the drill, FB Dandy does get out. Does block the super as well. All right, but the knockdown again, and GeoCities just content to be like, nope, I own this part of the screen. You're not escaping this real estate. Little Eddie will hold you in check, and that is going to do it. GeoCities with a pretty dominating 2-0 win there. Here are Frosty Fausting's tournament director, ElvenShadow, the OG Faust of OG Fausts in North America, taking on Pert, and Faust versus Testament is an absolute Plus R classic.
And nice try. You're not just getting a Faust, you're getting the Faust. This man has been maining and playing this character in tournament for well over multiple decades across Japan, North America, and it's just a monster. Not only in +R, but in Exert as well, so we're in for a treat, although it is pert on the Testament, and this is going to be no walk in the park here for ElvenShadow.
Yeah, no, I mean, Faust is equipped to fight Testament, has long buttons, has a way to get rid of the screen pollution, but once Faust is put in the corner like that, you gotta hold EXEBs. You don't have an easy out, and no Pert's gonna want to be trying to put this in a way to play solitaire as much as possible, because while Testament has some incredible buttons, plus the early stun, and we've got enough here because Testament has no guts. ElvenShadow with the stun gets the first round, and just like that, that's all it takes. One good item, and let me tell you, ElvenShadow be real good at pulling good items.
Already on the skull, going for a jump up slashback, just denying it from being in existence, setting up some items, some bomb bags as well, and then those jump 2K, especially off the techs. Wasn't ready for that web, it's okay, goes for the 6 heavy, but instead it's the gold burst, his pert. Anticipated, ElvenShadow trying to take their turn back. Spending bar on both sides, good anti-air 2K, very, very even in round number 2.
Yeah, that bomb's gonna go off, jumps just in time, very nice from ElvenShadow. Pert opts to dead angle, wants to get out of the corner, and does get the mix-up, earns ElvenShadow's burst, but immediately into the scalpel pulse, spiked to the ground, and we're gonna go find what's in the item bag. There's a bomb right there, nowhere to go. Mini Faust, nice bait of the warrant. Right now, ElvenShadow looking to close out this first game, and every door, an excellent closeout tool for Faust, and ElvenShadow on the board, 1-0.
Yeah, again, we have both players playing, characters that are extremely strong in mid-range. They both love throwing stuff out when they have that safety at a distance. But the thing is, Faust has that little bit range advantage that will make it challenging for a character like Testament to set up EXEBs, to throw out skulls, even plant trees or set up webs. One good far slash denying that, and then one good item, all it takes is a hammer or the weight or the barbell, and it's extra scary, especially on counter hit. He's critical, I call him critical hit confirms. You're throwing out items, you're getting a critical hit like you're playing RPG for that extra damage, and it turns the tide so quickly. Pert, though, finding a big combo here. Already half-life gone with the solid knockdown.
Yeah, no, ElvenShadow got bit by his own bomb and took 60% for the trouble, and Pert with a real nice start. ElvenShadow opts to burst down nearly 75%, says, that's fine. I know what I'm about. We can get this going. A scalpel pull, bring the items out. Let the RNG begin, my friends. Meteors does get marked, though. Set. Yep. Oh, the jumping 2K is going to get the confirm. Takes the knockdown.
An overhead as well. The combo off of the mini Faust is going to keep drilling just to keep the pressure there. Drill a move that puts you in block for a long time. Great angle to it as well. It's tough to anti-air consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. Has a very aggressive hitbox that is challenging for a lot of characters to anti-air. And you see ElvenShadow being super aggressive, but gets a little too far, gets caught, and Pert gets on the board here despite ElvenShadow going in, trying to just say, nope, I'm not giving you time to set up any of that screen pollution.
Again, like that, anytime Faust getting taken in the air, ElvenShadow taking advantage of it for a double jump into love with the bomb bag or the jump 2K, but now stuck in the most dangerous spot. The corner with Testament having meter, EXE Beast had to burst there immediately to at least get some screen space, but the skull does find its mark. Curse is there, and right now Pert can just chill, set up the Beast, and now it's guess for game.
Yeah, Pert did have to disengage there. There was a mini Faust coming in, so good awareness, but it does cost Pert their turn, and might have been able to close out there. ElvenShadow was definitely under duress, so get a little bit of room. I do see a Potemkin and a bomb in there, so this is going to get real interesting real fast. How's Pert going to deal with these two creatures coming at him? The squad is here, my friends, and they are ready to party. Gravedigger gets shut down.
I like it. The tech is there. No air throw from ElvenShadow. Gets the drill, though. Tries to go for the 2D. Nice jump back from Pert, who's happy to sit in this corner here. Has the trees and the webs. The attic is nice and safe, unless you get unblockable. Some damage there. ElvenShadow trying to bring this back. Has a burst just in case.
Yeah, ElvenShadow with a full stick of tension at the ready, but gets caught by the Badlands, and no burst yet, but is cursed once again, and the Force Break Pogo runs right into a net. You know there's more nets waiting down there. Whoa, the Force Break door into Gold Burst, but another net. Back and forth, both players trying to close this out, and Pert catches the teleport with the EXE Beast, and we have an even 1-1 set. That's the kind of +R nonsense I like to see. Just raw scrambling for that final hit.
Oh yeah, no. If ElvenShadow had a few extra, like a millisecond or two, and able to get that force break door, that would have been really bad for Pert. But Pert made the right call. Said, "Nuh-uh, this door is locked. There is no free entry behind me. Nothing personal." Shuts it down, taking us to pot stage here for game number 3. Is only one of these two can be top 8 winners, and it's gonna go the distance. Game number 3, early hit again for Pert. Gonna enjoy those knockdowns. Happy to set up Faust in this situation. Is Faust not having really any reversals outside of super, even then it's not that great.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Faust, a character that has to rely on the universal mechanics for playing defense for the most part. You know, no real good challenge buttons to try and scramble with, and as you said, no real reversals you can operate with. So, but we've seen that ElvenShadow's been very willing to burn his burst to get out of an uncomfortable situation. But right now, pretty even, but Pert with a burst and does have a little bit of meter to work with. So big jumping 2K. Yep, going to get the confirm, but a little bit of a drop there at the end. And the net catches back in the corner, and here we go.
Dead angle immediately, just to put that space there. The burst from Pert. Didn't want to get knocked down. Let Faust enjoy the spot, but we get the scalpel pull at max range. Builds up so much bar for Faust. That's why you always see ElvenShadow go all the way with it. Builds the bar to get the item super, but the bust out from Pert off of the curse. It's a one-hit situation for both players at this point. Who will get that lead and is able to go to match point? The 2K should do it here, and ElvenShadow finds the mark with one of the trickiest lows you'll ever see.
Yeah, no, Pert respecting the ability to cancel that into the instant overhead and stands up a little too early, gets caught. So ElvenShadow already on match point here in game 3. Draws first blood in the second round and is just kind of nickel and diming Pert right now into the corner. Pert will get their burst back here, but right now, ElvenShadow in control. There's a bomb back there. Yep, and Pert looking for any escape, not gonna find it. The forward heavy doesn't even get to use the burst, and ElvenShadow says, all right, that's enough of that. Enough nets, enough trees, enough skull. Rushing you down. The character can do that, and ElvenShadow's real good at it, but we have what I would call a new +R classic here. 8-man or Mangetsu going in with the Potemkin, a player who can pilot more than one character, by the way, going to be going against one of the students of the T5 school of sicko characters for sickos. Izzy coming in with Kliff, and this should be a good back and forth.
Yeah, this is another fun one, right? You got a character with Kliff, got humongous buttons, extra floaty, has so many things to keep you at bay, so hard to like knock down with like a slide head. But end of the day, this dude can't really take a hit on the chin. He's got a bit of a glass jaw if 8-man can find their way in. And we know that 8-man's got the ability and the know-how to navigate and make that happen. But can they weather that storm while they're taking all this damage?
Yeah, Kliff just has evolved so much since +R rollback became a thing. Hano, T5, and a plethora of other players have turned this character into, frankly, one of the villains of +R at this point, because it like you said, those big buttons, it's not just that they're big buttons, they're big buttons that are ungodly difficult to contest, and they lead to some absurd damage, even with little to no time. So this is one of those times where even though Potemkin has a lot of health to play with and a big resource to have on the docket, all it takes is one mistake and Kliff can snowball into a stun, and that can be a wrap. And right now we're seeing it, kind of a little bit of swinging back and forth here. Izzy utilizing the fuzzy jumps. Nice defense from Mangetsu, gets the backdash, goes for the overhead and gets caught by the super, and that's going to be an OTG, but the burst to hold the corner. Mangetsu gets the counter hit.
Nice combo into force break pot buster with the kill behind it as well. Finding the immediate, like, just the bounce off jump slash counter hit into some nasty conversion. That's how the tide turns in a matchup like this. You got a character who's lithe and annoying with range as Kliff, but those moments of beauty from 8-man, just turning everything around. Defending really well, finds the backdash 2D, but the immediate backdash as Izzy refuses to block in any of these moments.
Nice forward punch there. I like that. Wanted to make sure he didn't get clipped by the super, but not able to get a huge conversion. And now back to the corner, being that fuzzy jump. Hammer falls through and gets the trade. Really smart from 8-man there. Takes the corner with the JD and gets the combo out of it and says, I can super back, my friend. We're not doing this again. Hold this Gigantor, and 8-man with the 1-0 after looking real on the back foot there, so nice adjustments. When we talk about no life lead is safe and +R, that triple applies to Kliff, by the way.
Oh, and it's satisfying watching that dude get like his comeuppance for all the nastiness that he's inflicted across matchups sometimes. Sure, there's some exciting moments nonetheless, and there's some cool things he can do, but it can be very frustrating when you're seeing like, how do you deal with, like, especially if you're new coming into this, you have these huge buttons, this crazy pressure that's always like omnipresent, but 8-man just a cut above. And I just love the fact at the end of just like the Gigantor mirror to say, no, you do not want to block on a wake up. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Look in the mirror, pay the price.
Yeah, absolutely exploiting that aspect of it. And like I mentioned earlier, 8-man capable of playing multiple characters at very high level. You might think, why play Potemkin against this character with huge buttons and such? And it's because that's all it takes. One good backdash into a P-Buster. Kliff's going to be on the verge of getting stunned at that point. So, and we're seeing how easily it is that Kliff can just be like, I'm not going to let you play the game. I've decided I'm taking your controller and you're going to sit and watch an old man spin his butter knife around. But gets the hit and the P-Buster gonna close it out, and 8-man on set point already.
Yeah, the one time Izzy doesn't go for the backdash or the sidestep on wake up, gets blessed by the overhead and dies from it. Again, just one shot is all it takes. 8-man happy to use the burst like near the end there. But right now, Izzy once more getting that early lead here, spitting some game, talking some mess, avoids the dead angle, gets a big punish on that as well. This should be a perfect here. No problem from Izzy, as 8-man not going to want to spend the burst here at all. I'm just going to say that's what it is.
Yeah, no reason to spend a burst. And Kliff, also one of the best guts crushers in the entire game, by the way. You can look up and see like, oh, I've got like 3% and got knocked down. This will be fine. Kliff's like, yeah, about that. And Izzy doing her best to get 8-man on the back foot. Baits out the burst with the forward heavy, and Potemkin on the verge of being stunned. There it is, and that's going to be a wrap.
The guillotine.
That's all it takes. Really, really smart, by the way, by Izzy. She goes, I think you're going to burst, so I'm just going to hold this butter knife menacingly over my head. Hey, look what I found. It's the biggest starter in the game.
Just, that's just how it goes. As big a dude as you can be, as high as stun value as you might have as Potemkin. Couple of crazy good hits, and it's always scaled by the amount of like damage. Kliff doing so much damage can rack up so much stun value just like that. 8-man going right back to that same well though. Blue Potemkin once more to try to finish this here. Or table flipping Izzy, she's not going down without a fight. And that fadeaway hit, great start, and that OTG damage, racking up some big hits.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Izzy here, doing things that challenge Potemkin backdash, but right there, a backdash baits out a burst, and Izzy's going to pay for it straight to the corner. And 8-man going to start that Potemkin pressure, trying to hold the corner on that floaty jump. Izzy does escape, goes into the fuzzy jump out of the 5P, very nice. And throws out of the Gigantor this time, says, fool me once, shame on me, but we ain't doing that again. The hammered fall gets through, and is this going to be enough? Nope, opts to take the knockdown and catches with the...
Oh, that perfect jump dust.
Yeah.
Just the big booty, and able to find the 5P just for the finish there as well. Try to 2D. It got swallowed up by the Potemkin Buster. Huge damage already, but a great backdash from Izzy. She finds a nice little launch hit with the counter hit 5K. Oh, tried to throw, but it did not work out. 6 heavy startup getting opened up.
Yeah, no,
good lead for Izzy here.
Yeah, that was a counter hit 6P, so 8-man very lucky to not get stunned, but gets smacked again and going straight to the corner. Izzy with the confirm. And one more hit's gonna stun. Nice block on the 5D though, but gets clipped by the jumping heavy. Not able to get the OTG though. All right, get back.
This is the air pop buster that could have been enough to finish it, but it's still a slight lead for 8-man. Inching their way forward, 8-man moves in, IBs the blocks, tried to block the jump in there. A last chance burst to make it, to finish it here. Jump backs, but the 2D's too good at that range, rivaling probably anyone in the cast even Potemkin himself with that knockdown.
Yeah, no, Kliff 2D, one of the absurd buttons of +R in a game with a ton of absurd buttons. So we go to a final game here, but A.B.A baits the burst. We get a Potemkin buster. Not quite enough for the OTG, but Izzy literally down to the last pixel. Gets the 5K counter hit, but no full confirm. Again, drops another confirm, but Nickel and diving her way back in. Izzy's not done here. Let's see what the mix is. Yep. 8-man off the dead angle. Yep, and looking for that last hit here. Izzy trying to do anything. R sees the drill. Ooh, okay. Connects.
Even a 5P, a little bit of chip, even a hammer fall. Could be spooky, but the max range, far heavy. The tip of the fingers just sniping Kliff, talking mess.
The rockets into Bandit Revolver, all the stuff that can go once Haas gets on top of you. So this should be a really interesting matchup to watch.
Be fun to see. GeoCities played fast and loose and showed really good stuff in their first match on the stream here. Let's see how Tmunny gets around the puppet combo here already. Just using the crouching heavy, using Noboru exceptionally well. Has one level, but the wake up throw, turning in the corner and gonna get the Eddie gauge back, and now she'll be able to summon safely at a spot if they can find a little bit of breathing room, but the burst gets blocked, and now in a rough spot if you're GeoCities here.
Yeah, no, don't want to be in the corner with no resources as Eddie, but does manage to escape and is out of the corner now. How can GeoCities set up some offense? Slashback on the drill, but no punish, and gets caught. Chases with the jump D, and now force break drill. Are we got enough? Nope, just out of range. So Tmunny going back in, gets the overhead, not going to be quite enough. Where's the mix? Goes with a single gun blaze. Good defense there from GeoCities in the backdash, catches with the sweep. Tmunny under duress, having to FD, but gets the gold burst. Walks up for the super.
GeoCities did have the meter to block that out, but just took it on the chin after all that, missing the damn thing, a tough spot. Now you're in this corner against some fuzzy pressure. Within the grab, though, opportunity, GeoCities navigates it, finds a 6K, and getting some loops.
Yeah, very impressed with the backdashes on GeoCities right now, just barely avoiding all these Haas Norths and getting maximum punish for it. So GeoCities in a commanding life lead here to start round 2, but again, it's Eddie. The defense is not the greatest. All it takes is one knockdown, and this can get turned on its head. But right now, playing that screen-controlled game, just saying, you know what, you go ahead and charge up over there. That's fine. I'm going to send my minion to do the job. I don't need to dirty my own hands on this.
That's a classic round start at Eddie in XX. Just round start, air dash, jump slash, jump heavy. Tried the slash back, the little Eddie pressure, but instead eats a lot. We get the charge back up, more gauge here. The air throw is good as well. There is no escape from this corner as all of the drills is just menacing Tmunny. Dan Fang as well for extra credit, and now you're in the thick of it for the finish.
Yeah, tried the dead angle out, but nothing doing, and run up, just do the damn thing. That way, no burst is escapable there, and very, very nice game one there from GeoCities. Once GeoCities is getting control and getting in that nice mid-range where Eddie can just hold down the fort, we're seeing Tmunny kind of struggling to get out of that lockdown.
It's tough. Invite Hell is so potent of a tool when you have limited movement options available, and then you just see how well GeoCities is at just saying, you're in the air at this point, cool. Either a jump heavy or air throw, you're on the ground, it's always that invite hell until I get little Eddie back, and then it's just back to controlling the pace, but a 5 heavy gonna whiff, as Tmunny finding some nice damage with the whiff punish, but as soon as GeoCities lands, it's time to party and a slash back right back at you. Oh
wow, 3 slashbacks back and forth. Tmunny comes out ahead, does escape the corner and gets the grab. But GeoCities does have Eddie gauge back online on some meter to with the clash. Gunblaze does take out little Eddie though, so that gauge is going to be down for a while. So GeoCities going to have to stall. Ops can use force break drill to control space. For all does it again, and now Eddie is back online. Gets the grab, won't do the play. Tmunny tries to super through it, connects and earns the corner, goes straight up into the overhead. And GeoCities trying to mount a comeback, but nothing doing. Tmunny goes up 1-0 game 2.
That's one good way to get rid of little Eddie, is just punch the hell out of him with super, erase that advantage. A nice burst actually working out for GeoCities, so that's very important as they're air dashing forward. Tmunny not really challenging with jump Ps yet, has not found a good enough anti-air to keep GeoCities from finding these air approaches. Gonna have to reel in little Eddie again, and there you go. Finally finds the jump P. Gonna extend with some extra credit, but down on levels, so a good chance for GeoCities to find a throw or some room.
Yeah, I like that read by Tmunny there. Anticipated GeoCities might try and just dash out of the jump in, but GeoCities does connect here and kind of nickel and diming, but gets challenged and caught by the overhead RC, and that should close it out. Tmunny turns it around. We have an even set at 1 apiece, so nice adjustments there from Tmunny.
Yeah, again, just not running into little Eddie as much, making sure we get rid of that problem part of the matchup as consistently as possible with minimizing the damage we take. Yeah, we're trying to like slash back against like the Mawaru. We're trying to like find a way between that pressure, but not afraid to take the damage from it and forcing GeoCities to just have to find different options in some spots when they're finding those hits.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really like the adjustment there, and we'll see what GeoCities does, how to fight back here. Again, opting to burn meters, spend some cash to try and stay in control. That's a trade in GeoCities' favor. Holds the corner, gets back a lot of Eddie gauge, but Tmunny with the air dash does earn the burst from GeoCities, and now we're going to go back to neutral, get a little charge, does kill little Eddie with a max range crouch kick. That's big. And now Tmunny going in, catches with the Bandit Revolver RC. Pops the charge up a little bit, gets clipped by the Invite Hell, and now is going to have to hold the end pressure. Does get hit, immediately bursts out, and it wasn't baited, so Tmunny escapes. But gets caught by the jump slash, but has a jump button of his own. Now takes the corner. Good defense there from GeoCities. Yeah, baits out
the 2P counter hit. That was sick.
Yeah, very, very cool. And now, real even match here, even on meter. Who's going to get that all-important hit and take the first round of this final game of the set? Tmunny is in, gets the low, doesn't have enough. Yes, he does, gets the meter built, and closes it out. And Tmunny first to draw a chance at set point here.
Yeah, just that small little gap where you had a chance to burst, but eliminating that so quick, using that super there perfectly, avoiding the Invite Hell. 6Ps are starting to come out on the side of GeoCities, but the burst there, bad spot to be in, whiffing that 2S as well, as now Tmunny smells blood in the water, is rushing in, finds huge damage there as well, powering up once more off the Blockhead Buster, and that damage is starting to really show.
Yeah, no, big damage from Tmunny, has the damage. Oop, with the mashing throw while getting hit, and GeoCities takes the corner. All right, we got a little something going on here. Opts for exhaust, baits the burst into the damn thing, but Eddie is down at the moment. Spins the force break drill to hold the corner. Eddie's going to be back online very shortly. But we do get a summon here. Yep.
Nice for FRC off of the charge up, and then the run up. DP finds its tip giving when you're in the loser's side here, as we have some big matches to see who will survive at TNS+R. Yurrie back on deck versus the two-time FF champ Jacob Pat on the Testament, getting sent to losers by Tmunny. So it's gonna be a hell of a match here. Two gets to just keep living, and what a pile bunker to get some huge damage.
Yeah, Warren doesn't connect, but catches and gets the net. We go back to a bit of neutral. Jacob trying to work his way out of the corner. Will get there. We're going to get the knockdown off the one-hit bad line. No, little under. So Yurrie escapes, but runs right into a close S. Master of Puppets is out, and this is one of the strongest win conditions in the entirety of +R. So Yurrie had to RC that 2D. So it didn't get caught by the tree, but then gets crossed under, and now all the damage, that poison is ticking down. Jacob Pat gonna try and close this out, just misses. So Yurrie with the last bit of hero life here. Can Jacob Pat find a tiny bit of chip damage? There it is, pushed back into the net. And Jacob Pat on the board, 1-0. We'll see what Yurrie has to say in round 2 here.
All right, though, we got some backdash Mappas. Not a bad spot, but a jump dust gonna get the counter hit. And this is where the party starts. The coast to coast with a solid knockdown as well. It's going to enable Jacob Pat just to find the overhead, get the net combo here. What a beautiful sequence. Master of Puppets available if we need it. One more hit could lead into it, into just more zaniness.
Yeah, gets caught by the overhead. Yurrie opts to use the burst there, trying to get any footing in the second round. But right now, Jacob Pat goes immediately into Master of Puppets, into the RC, and says, nope, you're just going to hold this. I will block the direct hit, Dandy. And now Those trees are out. BDC bite through the tree, though, and now Yurrie is in. GGAC+R challenges with the 2P and gets the knockdown. Yurrie able to backdash out. Now both players looking to regain control, but the skull finds the mark. The GGAC+R close out from here. Not quite too far away to keep the extend going. BDC's through the succubus, and GGAC+R has to burst to avoid the big bang upper. And now, even game.
Great hit. Wait a minute. Pixel life to 5D is no good, but the counter hit. Mappa Hunch. What an anti-air at that distance, catching the air tech. Yurrie kicks around and tie things up.
Yeah, wow, what a back and forth. Some amazing backdash cancels from Yurrie to get through the trees and maintain some momentum in that round, and it pays dividends. But caught in the corner, and GGAC+R says, all right, that's fine. It's time to do what Testament does best. I'm sending you to the Shadow Realm, a.k.a. the corner with Master of Puppets, and now it's on you, my friend. You figure out how to escape this mess. You're gonna get
Almost
ripped
found
and
a
right
way.
back to the
Not
corner,
quite.
yup. And now into the corner, tree's gonna connect and let the extends begin. Yurrie does have burst, and Jacob says, I'm just gonna get some more trees online.
All right, beautiful tech. Avoids it just a little bit more. Super important. And the net's out of the way, and a beautiful reaction. Finds the reversal, direct hit. Dandy, this damage is turning things even here, but didn't get the dash into bite. Last chance burst, but too far. Gonna get punished. GGAC+R game 1.
Yeah, unfortunate execution error there for Yurrie because GGAC+R was not moving. That bite almost certainly connects, but did not get the dash before finishing the input. Like we said, my friends, there is no input buffer in +R. You gotta hit your marks, and sometimes that's all it takes. And GGAC+R, with good awareness, saw an opportunity to escape and cashes out. So GGAC+R up 1-0 in this winner go-home set. We'll see if Yurrie can continue to adapt and get those closing hits to earn a game here.
Ooh, decent start. Found another Mappa Hunch. Gets the bite here. Waits for the burst. Really good awareness of that. A lot of player tendencies. If they're like under pressure, they'll avoid it to the best of their ability to burst in between. But a whiff on the Footloose Journey is going to take a one-way trip into the corner.
Yeah, GGAC+R missing the extend there. Slayer has a huge air hitbox, but it's very horizontal. Sometimes standard combos, like placing those nets, can be a little trickier. Crosswise heal whiffs, though, and now GGAC+R, immediately into Master of Puppets and says, all right, let's start the fun here. The screen's going to get real polluted. Stuff's going to get mad nasty. Tree's right behind you, but the Force Break Dandy cancels out the empowered net, and Yurrie able to finish the plate. Go up 1-0 in game 2.
You will never keep this man from being Danny. It's one thing he'll do best. Danny stepping out of pressure, like it's a reversal, like an uppercut. It just works in those crucial moments. But right now, though, having to block to the best that they can. The 6P from Testament being an overhead, giving enough chance, though, enough of a gap for Force Break Dandy stepping the crosswise heal, gets to bust out, gets the burst from GGAC+R.
Yeah, Yurrie showing really good patience, waiting for that small gap in the pressure to try and utilize Force Break Dandy to get out. So far, it's working quite well, but GGAC+R just kind of controlling space. Yurrie with the immediate burst gets caught by Jump D, but right back in. But no, Nightmare Circular comes out, and GGAC+R now on set point. And Yurrie having just used a burst, both players having just used a burst. Going to be a while for anyone has to get out of jail card here in round 3.
Alright, things are starting to dwindle for the chances of Yurrie here. Late on the Badlands. More combo off there, more 6P goodness into Master of Puppets, and now in a rough spot. Haven't even gotten a hit on Testament now. Eating these 6Ps all day, every day, into a huge extension. And now we're set up for a victory here.
Yeah, no, this is just this is a Testament round of all Testament rounds right here. This character doing what it does best, but gets caught by the BDC bite, and now Yurrie with a little bit of room to work with. And then find that big hit and get the party started. GGAC+R, nice backdash, just trying to close it out. The crouching heavy, not quite enough. One more hit, and GGAC+R will stay alive in this bracket. Yurrie trying desperately to make their way in. Dodging back and forth, my man's is swaying, but Slayer does eventually get caught.
We're looking in the dictionary, the word belligerent, and it's just definition there is his A.B.A. OmegaTomHanks, though, not afraid to go fist to fist. So who gets top 8 off of this match, as Skeletal Minion has been fighting in the losers for quite some time here.
Yeah, no, this is going to be one of those matches of inches. The smallest gap allows both these characters to go absolutely ham on the others, so going to have to show a lot of respect, really pick your spots. And OmegaTomHanks gets the backdash, but we activate Goku Moroha mode, maybe the most ridiculous install to ever do it. And now Skeletal Minion gets to party for a hot minute here, uses the FRC to go back into regular Moroha, get that life back. Very nice use of the resources, still has a blood pack left for another Goku Moroha down the line, but right now Skeletal Minion is trying to close out this round one, catches the backdash, goes in the overhead, activate the Goku Moroha, and that is going to close it out. Like you said, get into Moroha mode and be belligerent.
That's all it takes, is just that one solid knockdown, get a little bit of bar, make it so it's so hard to approach, so hard to keep pressure, and she gets to steal her turn as often as she wants, but we find a counter hit flick. There's a small little knockdown. Immediate Donzai, though, on our first wake up. No fear here on the side of Skeletal Minion. I don't care if you knock me down 3 times. I'm going to miss the re-key, but we're going to get the ability to roll right through, try to get a 5D. Nice block here from MegaTomHanks, but still in the blender.
Yeah, no, nice use of the electric slide there from Skeletal Minion. Go right back into Moroha mode, but gets caught. Smart block, seeing the projectile come out, so MegaTomHanks respecting it, but does lose the turn in the process, and Skeletal Minion gets a full confirm into Goku Moroha. Probably can't close out here. Going to go for the unblockable. Baits the dead angle. Absolute perfection there. Playing it to the T. And Skeletal Minion creating his own checkmate situation. Goes up 1-0 against OmegaTomHanks.
Oh, beautiful sequencing as you see there. Skeletal Minion, you know, comes back and forth into playing the games. I'm happy to see him competing again, being in a spot where he can play to his max potential, which is always nothing short of incredible. But yeah. MegaTomHanks says, even though they might have stepped back from TON, they can still throw hands. So it's not going to be as easy as that. We find the overhead, we find the dash, we get the key. Maybe it is as easy as that to at least activate into Moroha mode. More pressure's coming out here.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem for Pot in this matchup, is that due to Pot's limited mobility, you can't really just let A.B.A do whatever she wants because she can activate with a blood pack. But if you're not careful, they get into Moroha via the key grab and keeps another blood pack on deck for Goku Moroha. And as you see, Goku Moroha does not care about you, your friends, your family, and especially not about your life bar.
All right, the time we meet her air-to-air, that's been a common option for Skeletal Minion. Tried to do the wake-up chain, got hit by the meaty 5K, big pop buster. This is the kind of round you want when you're fighting A.B.A. She doesn't get an immediate transformation. She loses a lot of life out the gate, and it's just so much harder. And oh, Gigantor comes through, but we miss. We didn't go for a pop buster instead. A regular combo didn't work, but a back throw throwing out the trash.
Yeah, very. You know, Tom Hanks was like, "Oh no!" When you that's the worst feeling in the world when you let an A.B.A get just a pixel of health and get into more like you said, oftentimes I've had players ask me, "How do I fight A.B.A?" Literally, the answer for most characters is don't let her get into Moroha mode. And I know that sounds real simple. It's not. It's incredibly difficult to do. But we're seeing Tom Hanks trying to do it, but gets caught by Force Break Donzai. We're going to go to the corner. No meter for Goku Moroha, so Skeletal Minion's going to have to decide when he wants to exit out. Nice! Crouching heavy baits the dead angle and uses the key grab to get out. Immediately back in with the blood pack. Skeletal Minion trying to close this out, gets the air dash in. OmegaTomHanks is going to get a burst, but the super makes it connect and goes up and takes the soul in the process, but gets P-Bustered on the backdash. OmegaTomHanks not done yet, but Donzai catches the jump. Yeah,
and again, that's Skeletal Minion to a T, taking that 2-0.
This is a fun one to watch. ElvenShadow has got very fighting Order Soul. Again, this character has risen up as a very popular and very fleshed out character in +R. It's a matchup you have to learn now, so we know ElvenShadow is going to be ready, and we'll see what Tmunny has in store for one of the true oldest vets of this game in North America. And right now, Tmunny off to a solid start, gets a nice confirm. ElvenShadow just trying to get a little space, maybe get the items going. A lot of respect in neutral there. Both players trying to really pick their spots. Tmunny holding ground, gets in. Gold Burst does not connect for ElvenShadow, but again, Tmunny just kind of biding time, being very patient. ElvenShadow gets in and gets the first knockdown.
Right, backdash avoids the scalpel pull. It's a nice little spot. All that horizontal range, you want to be extra careful. You get to your max distance, you're not at the worst spot against Faust. But when you're in this corner with some good items coming down, it could be extra scary. Unless you trade with Faust's 6P, then hey, we'll get that knockdown. Get the overhead RC into charge up. But the challenge with the 2K from ElvenShadow,
Yeah,
who has a small life lead here.
Yeah, very interesting challenge. Tmunny goes for the Gunblaze, no cross up there. ElvenShadow not FDing to make sure that cross up protection stays in. FDs to not get clipped by the Gunblaze in the air, but the run up DP catches. The second one does not, though, and ElvenShadow capitalizes on that whiff with the jump normal and takes round 1 here in our first top 8 match.
Right. Happy for those trades, especially the barbells, a supercharged hammer, but as many good anti-airs as Faust has, Jump Heavy is still a good equalizer. It's a little scary though. I know, like Holy Order Soul, not a big fan of like Faust being able to like one of the characters that can anti-air consistently as good as Jump Heavy is.
Yeah, absolutely. Faust has like 7 anti-airs. Like you pick a button, there's a good chance it will swat something out of the sky in the process. But Tmunny does finally weather the storm, gets out. Going coast to coast on the jump normals, but does miss the gap at the end. ElvenShadow throws it straight into the corner. Has to hold down all the items. Mini Faust running in. There's another item coming down. I didn't see what it was. It looks like it was nothing of consequence because no meteors come out. So Tmunny does earn the corner, but ElvenShadow gets out, gets clipped by the DP, and the Jump Heavy waits for the burst and nothing doing. Bozak showing a lot of discipline, not bursting out of there. So Tmunny sacrifices his turn and now is put in the corner. Bozak trying to close out this first game. On blocked.
Right. And just as it goes, Jump 2K, one of the dive kicks of all time.
It really is.
Finishing the job.
Is there anything more classic than a tense end of a round that involves a Faust player and you're waiting for this big sequence to happen and it's just like, yep, Jump 2K. It's good.
Jump 2K.
Yep.
If I need a consistent, clear answer, if I just need one hit to finish the job, I know Jump 2K got me.
Absolutely.
Level 5 on block, perfect angle at no height restriction. Let's go.
Yeah, no, just one of those buttons that you will spend a lot of time learning how to do. You play Legacy Guilty Gear and Shadow, one of the best in the business at using it. But Tmunny says, you know what? You can't jump 2K if you're literally on fire and being beaten in the corners. Let's try that for a change. But ElvenShadow does jump out. The bomb going to force both players to scramble, but the Gunblaze hits, but no confirm. All right, take the throw. Not quite going to get the wall stick, but does earn the corner, starting that Holy Order Soul Presser. And nice challenge by ElvenShadow on the overhead. Does manage to weather the storm and escape the corner. Now, Bozak going to start his offense.
Oh, watch out. Meteors are coming down. Avoids it. Gets hit by 1, which isn't the worst case scenario. Small life lead for Tmunny, but in a tough spot as another Meteors is coming through. Even a burst here may prove fatal. Instead, it's the far slash that finishes. I was surprised the slide on the Pogo wasn't going to combo into the Meteors. Tmunny getting a little lucky, but not really.
Yeah, no, that was one of those situations where almost any other item in Tmunny probably could have tried to run in and close out the round, but because it was Meteors, had to respect the control there and had no choice but to wait back. So ElvenShadow already on set point here in our first top 8 match. Tmunny going in, aggressively chasing down and saying, I'm not letting you escape this time, my friend.
Throwing anything and everything. Special moves to make you linger. These big DPs that you can power up at FRC afterwards. Jump P to stuff to 5K. Not bad, but you're in a checkmate scenario. Sure, here's a bunch of donuts and a bomb. You blocked it to the best of your ability, but now you can't even take one Jump 2K.
Yep. Oh, nice DP on that challenge, but Bozak says, nah, I'm just going to air tech buttons. And sure enough, it's just like, I got time for some brackets. I got time for some plus R rollback and doing what he does best. So we are going to see 8-man back up on the sticks, taking on XPHANTOM. And now for the first time today, we're going to see 8-man bust out the Johnny. And Johnny versus any soul is a classic Guilty Gear matchup, so this should be fun.
And the respect taunts on both sides, a little bit there between players who have seen each other on these online streets so many times before. Certified classic. Even if I'm not a big fan of Green Johnny on this stage because this is kind of hard to parse. One of the classic like palettes on a nasty green level, but hey, you know, we're playing it.
Yeah, it's not quite X or Chip find me on the wrong stage, but it's pretty close. But yeah, no, you said it best. There was a point in time where you could set your watch to these two meeting in a top 8 and an bracket, so definitely familiar with one another. You're going to see a lot of layers back and forth as they try to get and continue on their run through top 8. And right now, a lot of back and forth. Divine Blade misses, and XPHANTOM going in, going to start the party, does the meaty sweep, daring Mongetsu to throw on Wake Up and nothing doing, but gets the confirm with the Misfinder and get the knockdown. We see backing out, try to deal with any potential gun blaze, but it does come out just a little bit later than expected. And XPHANTOM looking for that closeout hit to try and get this first round. And gets caught on the jump in. Ooh, doesn't finish the combo though, but the gun blaze will catch, and XPHANTOM on the board, 1-0.
Yeah. I love that, seeing the Divine Blade coming out and just said, I got something, you want to spike me down? I got something that reached the top. Great, just again, matchup awareness and player awareness too. Now we're stuck in the corner here. 8-man FDing to get enough pushback, but brought right back into it in a tough spot. Again, the Misfighters, or 5-hitters is going to whiff, and a small punish as XPHANTOM is just running rampant.
Yeah, a little bit of a drop there, so XPHANTOM does unfortunately end up the corner, but a trade in his favor and immediately back in. Has a nice life lead to work with, so 8-man got his work cut out for him if he wants to get back in this first game. Has some meter to work with, but you see XPHANTOM just being patient, utilizing that short hop spacing to get in on Johnny, but he gets the connection with the Misfinder, going to go far to the corner here. The knockdown does not connect, however, so XPHANTOM escapes. Tons of meter, literally a full deck of tension in level 2, throws out the Savage Fang, looking for any buttons that might be pressed, and now holding down the corner. A clash lets 8-man escape, but caught by Rocket, and XPHANTOM trying to close this out, and now getting pushed to the corner by 8-man.
Oh, Jackhound whiffs, unfortunate spot, all this meter getting spent, but a 5p anti-air. 8-man still surviving, but another drop on the Divine Blade knockdown. It's these little bitty moments that have just hurt so much.
Yeah, brutal. I can't remember which side. I know in this matchup particular, one character absolutely hates trying to combo the other, and I can't remember if it's Order Soul comboing Johnny or vice versa. I just remember that this is a hitbox nightmare for one of these characters, and a lot of their standard issue B&Bs become really obnoxious to get because of the way the air hitboxes work. So drops are definitely a thing you will see in any +R match. Again, no input buffer, but especially in one like this where a hitbox just doesn't want to cooperate. So let's see what's going on with this one. As 8-man has the corner. Again, so far XPHANTOM just using that short hop to get out of the pressure after weathering the storm, and it's worked quite well throughout this set. Once again, back on the offensive.
All right, in the corner we go, though. Gets the escape with a counter hit. Helps out a bit, but a big hit on the side, or just light up the floor one more time. Great force break here, but finally landing our knockdowns. Try to cross up, and a good challenge from XPHANTOM. Very even round this time around. Divine Blade gonna spike. Gonna find the 5k anti-air against the FRC. Not a bad spot if you're 8-man here. And the jump off the neutral to get some damage.
Oh, the Joker trick just whiffs, so XPHANTOM back and escapes, gets the DP. 8-man opts to burst, says, I do not want to go down on set point already, trying to get around on the board, but XPHANTOM picking the spots, gets caught by the 5k, doesn't burst, but then gets swept. 8-man with the TK in Singa catches XPHANTOM sleeping, and 8-man on the board, 1-0 here in game 2.
Yeah, tough, quick or overhead. So beautiful there for 8-man to just let it rip, finding that one little tool to finish the job on the round, answer something. Throws the coin out, recovered fast enough to get the 5p, punish on the gun blaze, and now we're in a good spot here as we have the charged Misfinder, so quicker Misfinder cancels, and much more nasty pressure, gets the slide, jack count confirmed, but the drop, unfortunately.
Yeah, again, we were talking about those air hitboxes sometimes betray you, and the Savage Fang catches on the whip. Very nice from XPHANTOM there. Gets out of the corner, charging up and going in. Gonna get a full confirm here. 8-man does get his burst back, but got to be real careful. The chase down after the air tech, and XPHANTOM just staying light blue on top of A.B.A.
Oh,
Gets
hold
caught
on.
by the Divine Blade, though. A little bit of room to work with. Gets the grab, all right. Oh, the hard burst bait and nothing doing from A.B.A. Gives up the turn, but jumps over the Savage Fang. Doesn't punish, however. Find that last hit.
Hesitation. Anybody here in the Rocket? Level 2, good answer to get that round. And now match point XPHANTOM to get to winners finals.
Yeah, gotta respect Rocket in a one-hit situation like that, especially at level 2. It's so much faster. XPHANTOM using it to perfection now. Does cross over into the corner, but maintains offensive pressure. A.B.A. does get to that mid-range, but a trade not in his... Does get the coin to hit, though, so that is worth noting if A.B.A. can connect here.
Some good IDs here from A.B.A. Waiting their turn. They have a level 2 Misfinder ready to go. Try to jump out. It finds the escape, but right back on you, XPHANTOM. They try to finish the job, gets the double jump, pressure, gunblaze, corner steal, disgustingness with the back turn shenanigans.
Challenging the biggest names who have been doing this for so long, and you never know on a plus R bracket. If you are a degenerate gambler, don't bet on plus R. Just do yourself a favor and find anything else to take odds on, as we are going in Skeletal Minion versus GGAC+R here. Loser goes home. Skeletal Minion gonna draw first blood and already in there with Moroha on it. GGAC+R gonna take a grip on this.
Ooh, air throw reset as well, but the warrant to stop the unblockable into immediate EXE Beast stops the burst as well. We do have a Goku Moroha available, but not even get a chance. We're gonna get the untransformation immediate hit as well. And GGAC+R, this weathers, we say that a lot with plus R. People weather the storm here. Everyone brings something to the forecast, a blizzard, a torrential downpour, what have you. And to get around that is no small feat. 2S anti-air into Badlands. Welcome to the corner, lady. Enjoy your stay.
Yeah, it does use the FB slide to get out, and a nice slashback that connects, but nothing escaping. And so GGAC+R catches on the activation and gonna go to town. Skeletal Minion with no burst. Does not take the knockdown, which is very important, so able to save some of that Moroha meter. And any connection in Moroha is dangerous for Testament, because Testament, a very low defense and basically zero guts character, and into Goku Moroha. This is going to hurt, and it's going to be basically one mix-up away from a potential closeout. But GGAC+R just techs in with JH, hits the grab, and takes the round. Wow, not what I expected to happen there.
Yeah, interesting way to cover like the layers there. I mean, you just tech forward, have that button to find the way, recognize it wasn't going to combo. So just felt that grab was not a bad idea, especially considering like reversal Danzai or maybe like trying to escape with the button could get eaten up by the grab. Interesting. It's hard to say what exactly Skeletal Minion was going for in that spot, but definitely was not accounting for the grip.
Yeah, almost wonder if maybe there was like you said, a Danzai that maybe just a frame early and thus got nothing, so you just eat the jumping heavy. But either way, GGAC+R not missing the opportunity and goes up 1-0, and now has the corner already, and Skeletal Minion has not been able to get into Moroha mode yet. That skull forces the slide in, but nice double slide into the key grab, and now baits out the warrant. No punish, though, and GGAC+R gets the first knockdown. Got to be careful with that as A.B.A, as that already takes a third of the bar. Now we're down to the final third. Gets hit by the overhead. Skeletal Minion opts to burst, but almost out of Moroha meter. It gets caught trying to deactivate. GGAC+R goes in and is already on set point in top 8 losers side.
Yeah, having any lag on anything here, having to untransform and have like vulnerability, it's so scary. And Skeletal Minion just trying to like get out of the powered up mode. It just wants to escape Moroha and do something, but it's just GGAC+R sticking on. Skeletal Minion like glue here. So much life lost. Haven't even transformed once. You have all these blood packs. You have these meter. You don't want to use it to FD, but the burst gets blocked. And this is a bad spot to be in. Whiffing the key grab. This might be the end.
Yeah, in the corner with no Moroha, no meat. Can't negate the chip damage, and GGAC+R dominant 2-0 there. Yep, absolutely. So GeoCities taking on TJ Brown, Testament versus Zato. Again, another really interesting matchup because Zato has some, has some unique ways of dealing with the screen pollution, but Testament's buttons are excellent at killing little Eddie, so your summon's got to be on point. You got to be very careful when you bring Eddie on the screen. And right now, both players are swinging, and we are seeing some damage. TJ Brown takes the corner. GeoCities opts to backdash, burst. It gets baited, but not a full confirm, and re-earns the corner. Now the mix begins. Good defense so far. TJ Brown does get opened up, though. The exhaust into the unblockable.
Okay. In a trade, though. Could have been scary off of the Gravedigger. And then we find the Dolphin hit with the Invite Hell. GeoCities taking round 1.
Yeah, wow. We've seen that a couple times now. Every so often, GeoCities willing to bust out the Eddie Vice moveset, the alternate older moveset, and right there, using it to the best of his ability to have the Dolphin just control horizontal airspace. So GeoCities up 1-0, but TJ Brown unfazed and already has an 80% life lead into another confirm. The net too far, though, so GeoCities with a bit of life here. TJ Brown catches on the net, goes back in. We are evened up 1 apiece. That was quick, Bucko.
Really, really cool. That's, I mean, kind of how you expect the matchup to go, right? Eddie have to just hold this nastiness. Again, both characters not known for their reversal abilities. You got a little bit of backdash to make some space, but it's all offense just to make the party start. Mawa loops for some pressure into Dan Fan. We're gonna set up just some extra damage off of here for some stun. I like it.
Yeah, very nice use. TJ Brown opting to not burst. Says it's fine, I'll take the damage. But gets caught by a forward heavy into Executor. And that's gonna hurt. And now GeoCities on the verge of closing out this first game. TJ Brown trying the weathers from the dead angle, does not connect, and the run-up damn thing is gonna be enough to close it out all by itself. GeoCities goes up 1-0. Very, very good control of the corner there. Just going, you know what? The only option you have is to try and find a warrant somewhere, so I'm just gonna sit here and hold my ground.
I feel like we've been taken back to the year 2007. This is the accent core matchup, vanilla accent core. I grew up in FGs, seeing this happen all the time with some amazing players. North America, and here we go again. It feels like nothing has changed, even though Testament's kind of the one that, who would say stays on top, but GeoCities is just too good.
Yeah, no, super impressive back and forth. And yeah, it's the same matchup, but like Testament is effectively a completely different character after getting the kit reworked in +R. And so you see a lot of new wrinkles here, but right now, GeoCities just nickel and diming, but does get caught by the Gravedigger, and now gets the knockdown. That burst was baited earlier, so it's not coming back anytime soon for GeoCities, which is giving TJ Brown license to party as she pleases. Going into the Master of Puppets, this is going to be real tough for Eddie to navigate. It does get the dead angle.
Good range on it. Invite Hell is there, but the tree is there to combo break, and just a light tap gets TJ Brown on the board of the round.
Yeah, you might avoid the first tree. You might even get over the second. Getting through 3 of them, that's a tall order. So TJ Brown is on the board, but right out the gate, burst speed being tossed out. Both players just want to maintain raw offensive advantage right now. Catches on the anti-air. TJ Brown failing to FD and gets knocked out of the skies. And GeoCities already on set point out of nowhere.
And I think people are just not used to it. Eddie is one of the best characters to enforce his will after an air tech. So with the Maru, or the Noboru with the 2 heavy, it covers so much vertical space. It makes it so you have to be careful on the way down. Powers up with the overhead, gets an extra credit, and now is leading it with the unblockable off of the drill and the dust with Eddie. That's too good.
Yeah, no, GeoCities showing off some tech. I've seen them put on Twitter before with the double knockdown setups. Technically can be a triple unblockable setup, but super, super impressive use there from GeoCities. But Nightmare Circular does not punish the whiff 5. He thought it was going to connect, but TJ Brown trying to stay alive. Nice confirm. Will the burst come out? It is. It's not baited, and the 6P on the air dash in. GeoCities making the bet. You burst, or I bursted. You're coming right back in. Hold the 6P. And very, very good awareness there by GeoCities. Grimy, nasty, absurd thing you think you've seen. I promise you, +R, I'll show you a new one. All you got to do is watch a top 8. You'll see something that just makes you go, wait, you would do that? Wait, we play this game for money? Absolutely, we do.
We see Tmunny in it in our next losers quarterfinal match here versus GGAC+R, seeing who can advance forward. I know Tmunny doesn't want to be the first Order Soul out of top 8, but right now GGAC+R is trying to keep him in jail. Finds the jump away after the jump beat pressure, and both players really playing this air game.
Yeah, you notice that poison got the full duration there, so even though GGAC+R only had one real confirm at that point, the poison just ticks down irregardless. It does not scale even if you're being comboed, so getting the full poison damage sets GGAC+R up here. But Tmunny says, I've got a burst and I'm willing to use it, but immediately sniped by a tree. And the hero burst does not pay off, so GGAC+R gets the round and a low burst meter for Tmunny.
Yeah, pay the price for that here. And GGAC+R just bunny hopping forward, putting up the wall against Order Soul, using just those great air normals from Testament to just keep keep Order Soul at bay. Finds a hit the Gravedigger, gonna sideswap with Badlands, force break Skull just to make life hell, and got out of a spot where Gunblaze wouldn't hit. So that was really well done all throughout, taking that first game with a perfect.
Wow, GGAC+R in complete control there. And again, that's a Testament round, and if you're Tmunny, you just wipe your hands off real quick and you say, all right, go next. It happens. It happens to the best of players when you're playing against a character like Testament. And you mentioned it, throwing out the big buttons, controlling air. You know, when people think of Testament, you think of the screen pollution. You think of the grimy EXE beast mix-up. But the glue that really holds this character together and makes them one of the most difficult to fight in the game is the buttons on this character are so much better than you think they are. They're so good at the mid-range and so good at controlling space and even anti-airing in unconventional ways. And in addition, by the way, I have a 2-frame counter that poisons you, so enjoy that part of the ride while I take you into the...
And it lingers so long too, right? You wait and you think you got it, but no, the warrant just stays there for such a long time. Like the web will stay there unless you activate it or to hope for the best. And now big pressure off of the curse here. GGAC+R is just big chilling. No problem with the overhead as well. Another hero burst from Tmunny, but you still have so much you got to navigate.
Yeah, I can't blame Tmunny. You haven't been able to play the game for the entire set. You're just trying to get any sense of momentum whatsoever. But GGAC+R just doing what GGAC+R does, controlling the screen, controlling the space, and once he's got that offensive pressure going, he's not going to relent, and right there, the delay into the overhead. Air dash is over for the full confirm to retake the corner, puts out the skull to control space, and now the curse mark is on, and Tmunny on the struggle bus right now. Does escape with the JP, gets the knockdown, all right, but gets thrown. Oh,
nope.
Goodness.
All these denials. Last chance burst here, but this is like the worst spot you could be in. A gold burst from GGAC+R. Oh.
Wow, really? That's how we're gonna do it? That's raw. That's
Thank you for entering and having a show here, as we're gonna have another big one as we have 8-Man versus GeoCities. And 8-Man gonna go with the Slayer.
wow. I'm gonna be real. I did not know 8-Man had a Slayer. I don't think I've seen this, so this is gonna be interesting and an interesting choice. But I do kind of understand the mindset. Potemkin versus Eddie, not the most fun matchup. Johnny also kind of gets really annoyed trying to fight Eddie, so a going into the well, and right now looking like a pretty choice with a 80% life lead to start off round 1 here. So, and Mangetsu looking for the closeout, and that is a 2S into the pile bunker, and on the board 8-Man 1-0 to start this top 8 showdown.
Well, we do find a counter at 2S into the invite hell. Nice little combo with more pressure here. Nice delayers, going for Danfang, but putting a Noboru behind it just to make sure your jump out isn't as safe as you think it is. Yeah, the Eddie gauge is having some time to come back. We do have it available here. Gonna summon, but immediate power bunker just to get rid of it. And that's such a little bit of damage on the side of GeoCities as a punish. Which makes it all the worth to kill little Eddie that way.
Yeah, no, 8-Man will take that trade all day, every day. Getting rid of Eddie and taking a small bit on the chin for the trouble is an easy choice to make. And now already has the corner. GeoCities is going to get their burst back, but too late because Dead on Time says you can have a burst, but it don't matter. You're already dead, my friend. And 8-Man Slayer showing up and a quick 1-0 against GeoCities.
I mean, that's the reason the super Dead on Time, right? That was exactly when you needed, as Man, 8-Man is showcasing some great Slayer. Yeah, GeoCities did defeat Yurrie Slayer at the start of the tournament in the pools match that was streamed. But 8-Man's a different flavor.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
already air dash in, jump heavy, some small hits. GeoCities trying to fly away, but there's no escape here.
There's the adjustment. I was about to ask when GeoCities is going to start committing to the anti-air dash buttons, and finally a crouching heavy connects and a nice confirm for GeoCities, but 8-Man just trying to control that space, hold down the corner. Nice block on the It's Late, blocks the 2D, and GeoCities does escape, but 8-Man just kind of air dashing with impunity in this matchup so far. Haven't seen it checked except that one crouching heavy. And not able to get the full confirm on the Eddie, but the second one connects, and now GeoCities on the verge of closing around, but gets challenged by the 2P. Bursts the crosswise heels, dangerous burst, but it does connect, but right back into the corner. GeoCities, good defense by 8-Man, and now trying to hold down the little Eddie pressure. Max range sweep into the cross-up. Trying to chase down, but the 2S clips, and GeoCities on the board, 1-0.
Yeah, nice. Invite Hell once more, saving the day here. We'd have another Eddie gauge available at the end of that round, but didn't matter. Backdashing, but It's Late. Just Dolphin Eddie for the knockdown. All these backdashes getting sniped. Half your life is gone because you didn't want to block.
Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed that GeoCities was very prone to trying to get out of pressure at the backdash, and 8-Man recognizing it brings the maximum pain for it. Now 8-Man on set point, trying to push our Eddie player out of this top 8, but the crouching heavy connects too close for the close invite held a combo though. Little Eddie takes the hit and gets the knockdown, but now got to wait for the gauge to come back. Wow, nice anti-air 2P and earns the burst, but an anti-air in return, and we go back to neutral.
Gonna get an unsummon here just to get some of that gauge back. Ooh, we find the invite hell. Save summon. Noboru catching the air dash forward, but the super jump instead. Amorphous gets blocked. A little slow, but at least makes some space.
Yeah,
chance here for GeoCities to tie things up 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Amorphous, not the fastest super, so very hard to connect as reversal, but it did get GeoCities some breathing room. But 8-Man right back in there into the dead on time. No OTG, but just goes low, and 8-Man closes it out.
Hey, it's going to be the unstoppable force versus an immovable object, or a random object, if anything. As ElvenShadow XPHANTOM winners finals, first to 3. Here we go. TNS GGACR+R number 3. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Winners finals. Winner trying to punch that ticket into grand finals and guarantee themselves a top 2. Gonna have to earn it. Both these players, of course, incredibly strong. And early on, kind of feeling each other out. A Gunblaze connects, but no full confirm. And that immediate tech into jumping 2K bears fruit for ElvenShadow. He's got a nice life lead to work with, but XPHANTOM catches and immediately takes the knockdown. I like it. And now getting that full damage into the corner, trying to chase down in the air, catches with the throw on the landing, and the burst just gets out in time. Wasn't sure if it was going to get through the iframes, so ElvenShadow does escape, but has a lot of work to do.
So XPHANTOM in the corner here. There's meteors at play. It's going to force the up back block. We still have a little bit of bar. Has to be careful here because, yeah, we cannot air block anymore. No more FD. I managed to escape from the situation, but the unblock, you can burst it though. It is not a command grab. We clash and find the jump P. Next hit wins.
And a chase down from XPHANTOM here, holding in jail, but lands in. Bozak gets the throw and steals round 1 at the last possible moment, going up 1-0 in winners finals here. Excellent back and forth, exactly what we expect out of these two players.
All right, run up grab from mid-screen, ElvenShadow classic. It's gonna bust out all the little things there to get you second guessing. Meteors too, now you can't guess. You gotta hold back and pray with the up back, spending a lot of FD gauge to get out of there.
Yeah, had to spend a lot of meter, but did get away from the corner, which was big for Phantom there, but gets caught by the scalpel pull with the critical hit, and the items come out, so now XPHANTOM got a lot of work to do. Gets the anti-air 5H, all right, little bit of a start there. Doesn't get the tech button on the way down, however. ElvenShadow kind of stuck in the corner, gets the poison out. XPHANTOM showing a lot of respect here and has to retreat to the corner, but catches with the Gunblaze. And now, go all the way back the other way, and one more hit could get XPHANTOM on the board here, but has to weather the storm. Nice JP out of the pogo string, and now the dead angle gets Bozak out. Run up throw again. Called it. He's not afraid to do it, and ElvenShadow going up 1-0 to start this winner's final set.
I love that. I love that commitment from ElvenShadow. Man, this is a game where there is like a slight couple of frames of throw invulnerability as you're like waking up. So it's like, if I recall correctly, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's always a little bit. So it's not like XPHANTOM couldn't have pressed there, but ElvenShadow was like, you're gonna block for at least a handful of frames. Watch this. Get me that first game. 2 more can land ElvenShadow in grand final. XPHANTOM's gonna make that so hard.
Yeah, one of those things you have to always be aware for is wake up throw, but it can often become a game of chicken, and in that one, ElvenShadow comes out ahead. But in game 2 here, XPHANTOM absolutely on the chase down, nowhere to go for ElvenShadow, and already down 80% with no burst on the dock. Now XPHANTOM just running ragged, catches the force break and should be able to close this out. And XPHANTOM already turning things around, back on the board for round 1 here in game 2 of this set.
Yeah, that's a way to turn it around, right? Just get in that ass and don't stop. There's a little mini Faust there that had to be a little bit of a factor. Right now, though, no items at play. All we have is those big normals from Faust. Too far for scalpel pulls. We're going to get some charge-ups. And a chocolate bar is not going to do anything to deter XPHANTOM.
Yeah, I really liked it. Uh-oh. No. Help. All right, we're back. Everything's fine. Both players weather the storm. Nobody gets a weird hit out of it, so no harm, no foul as we continue on. XPHANTOM maintaining that offensive pressure, but is down quite a bit in the life lead. Finally does get a connection, but not for too much damage, and then gets cornered, gets his way out, but caught after the FRC. And the items come out. Not the best pull of all time for ElvenShadow there, so XPHANTOM doesn't have to fight back too much and does manage to get back to center screen. But the drill comes out. The burst is baited. Very nice from ElvenShadow. Now XPHANTOM way on the back foot. Not a lot of the Mito to work with, and that's going to do it. ElvenShadow evens up game 2 at a round apiece.
I love that 5K counter hit conversion as well. Speaking of counter hit conversions, the drill hits. We get a 5K into just a pushback. XPHANTOM back in this tricky spot. Little Faust gonna just add an extra credit on a small hit. Half-life gone for XPHANTOM. ElvenShadow gets a little bit of build-up. Has a lot of bar here for a dead angle. Instead, what's the 5K and a throw for XPHANTOM.
XPHANTOM just doing double overhead with no Roman cancel. Now opting to charge up to level 3. Chase down with the JP. Does not take the extend, interestingly enough, so no knockdown, and ElvenShadow escapes. There is a meteor in that pile of items. XPHANTOM has to wait it out. Does wait his turn and gets back in with the jump H, but Mini Faust to the rescue, and Mini Robokai with the extra backup, and XPHANTOM in the corner fights his way out, air dashes over. Now back to neutral with a bomb on screen.
Nice air block. Oh, tough spot for XPHANTOM, but the clash into uppercut. Gonna see a burst here? No, you can't. Oh,
yeah,
great
very
job.
good awareness. Excellent awareness there from XPHANTOM. Just does the double gun blaze combo. ElvenShadow can burst there, but it ain't gonna get anything done. He opts to just leave it in the pocket. Says GG go next, and we are even at a game apiece in winners finals here at TNS+R 3rd edition.
Amazing back and forth between these two. They're gonna make this one hell of a show as they just know the ins and outs of not just the character matchup, but the player matchup as well. So super exciting because we're starting up game number 3, charging forward. 5K gets the anti-air on the jump as Older Soul can't really navigate around 5K as well as he'd like. Hard knockdown from the scalpel pool. Welcome to jail. We got some bombs and bags.
Yeah, nice DP, though, on the jumping 2K, so XPHANTOM escapes the corner and does get a nice cash out for his trouble. Still a little behind, but with the damage disparity, no problem to make that up, and now we got an even match. Bozak opts to use his burst to get out of a combo that could have possibly ended the round, and now just trying to play the range game, trying to stay at that stronger mid-range where Faust can simply out-poke Order Soul, and the nice anti-air on the jump-in, and ElvenShadow trying to close out round 1 here. Mini Faust holding it down. The clash and the burst is baited. Does he have enough? Not quite. XPHANTOM alive. Gets the counter hit. Jumping heavy. Does he have enough? He does.
Believed in everything there. The tech double jump. The jump heavy to challenge was absolutely fantastic in that situation. Happy to just chill and block against the bombs and the bomb bags. And blocking the DP, though, from Faust. into the command grab. Corner gets the extra credit with the hard knockdown. Okay.
Yeah, the proximity of blockable can combo without meter in the corner, so Bozak using that to his advantage. Throws the gun blaze, and right now with dominant life lead here in game 2, want to get this second game real bad. Going up 2-1 in a best of 3, or first of 3, excuse me, is so important. And right now, ElvenShadow on the verge of evening up game 2 here. Game 3, pardon me.
All right, goes under the 5K, gets a little bit of damage here. Gunblaze to maybe catch a tech instead, just OTGs. Huge damage off the triple Gunblaze, knockdown, power up. Oh my goodness. This keeps going.
Keeps going, daring ElvenShadow to tech. He does not, and now gets to the corner, but this time ElvenShadow blocks, and XPHANTOM down to the absolute magic pixel trying to bring it home, but gets caught by the JP out of the run-in. We're even at a round apiece in game 3. Winner will take that important 2-1 lead into game 4. Nice DP challenges and gets the full confirm going coast to coast.
Just order soul things. Recognizing that Faust is going to go for the bomb bag and just punishing it beautifully. More pressure here. We do have some force breaks available as well, so ElvenShadow has to be careful. And another air-to-air DP just to stop ElvenShadow from trying to press and challenge in the air. Gunblaze once more, huge read to beat the drill and or the pogo. But finally we find something, try to get a throw afterwards, didn't work out.
Yeah, ElvenShadow was trying to figure out how to punish that whiff up there, but knowing that XPHANTOM had a burst, opted to go with a 2K and maybe bait it. Nothing doing, so XPHANTOM regains control and takes a 2-1 lead in winners finals here. And you said it, Raph, back and forth. These players are adding the layers, they're making adjustments. And we'll see if ElvenShadow has another to add, which might just be pulling 3 meteors in a round.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of little things can help put things in ElvenShadow's way. I mean, avoiding what he can do for himself is doing his best to avoid being put in the corner is always going to be like a big thing, but I want to see him reevaluate how these air-to-air situations are going, as right now XPHANTOM is just happy to commit to these air-to-air DPs. If you're going to go for bomb bags, you're going to go for jump Ks, drills, then a DP option that has invulnerability that also lets XPHANTOM charge up or even get extra credit damage can be worth so while. So it's a new little wrinkle. How does ElvenShadow answer back on those two facts? Let's see in game 4.
Yeah, I feel like so far in this set, ElvenShadow's been at his best when he is maximizing that slight advantage in range that Faust has organically on the ground. Obviously, you have to deal with the rush down ability and the short hop, but if I'm ElvenShadow, I'm going to be a little bit less willing to look for bomb bags and try and control more space and hold down the skies a little bit. But again, easier said than done against a character like Holy Order Soul, so we'll see if ElvenShadow is up to the task. And right now, does have a mini Potemkin out. That will help things quite a bit, but taking some big trades in the process. But now, has the corner with mini Potemkin coming in, and the man's is here. Get ready for some big block stun. Oh, XPHANTOM actually goes back in the corner, gets hit by the bedpan, and the burst is baited. ElvenShadow looking good here, gets over the gun blaze. Teleport gets hit by the charge. Wow.
That charge has invulnerability at the end there. If you use it, it is punishable on block, but just a well done answer against it. Classic ElvenShadow going for the S teleport, immediate RC to make it safe. So close between these two. The donut taking some life back, but takes a bit of damage from it.
Oh man, going down to the wire here, looking for that last hit. The 5H connects and goes up and does it again. And XPHANTOM snipes ElvenShadow at the last moment and is now on set point in winners finals, looking to punch his way into grand finals. ElvenShadow gonna have to make a comeback here. So close in that last round, but close doesn't count in Guilty Gear, as it does in any other fighting game, but off to a good start. Meteor's coming out, so XPHANTOM gonna have to disengage. Go to the corner.
Stuffed the unblock with a 2D. I heard the laugh come out, but nothing else from it. That's kind of crazy. But XPHANTOM's built like that. Momentum DP to catch the 5K. That was gnarly. Look at that damage off the 2.
Nice tech grab there by Bozak, but gets caught by the 5H, looking for the burst bait, looking for it twice, nothing doing. Gunblaze still trying to catch that burst from ElvenShadow, but it never comes out, so still alive, but barely. Dead angles to get out. Jump D cross under, goes back the other side. Nice block on the overhead by XPHANTOM, and now charging up and runs up, hits the DP, still no burst. The dead angle to take the corner, and the Gunblaze RC. The teleport goes backwards.
That was an accident, and a happy one at that, if you're ElvenShadow.
Absolutely, but eventually does run out of second chances and drills himself right into the Gunblaze. Is GGAC+R gonna take on 8-Man, and 8-Man once again gonna go to Slayer for this matchup. And we'll see if it works out against Testament.
Is it really gonna be big? I like what I see. 8-Man Slayer looks super freaking good in the matchup against GeoCities, and already not bad against GGAC+R. The reversal goal burst gets a lot of meter, gets out of dodge. This is the spot where you want to be in, right? GGAC+R has all the meter to control everything. One good hit can lead to Master of Puppets, but 8-Man with a little bit of Bar and Dream just needs one solid hit to go crazy with that damage.
Yeah, GGAC+R finally connects with an overhead, says, I'm immediately taking Master of Puppets because I want control here. Knows that 8-Man is a strong defensive player and just wants to get maximum offensive gain as soon as possible. Does very well to score the poison. 8-Man opts to burst, says, I can run this back. I have some meter to play with. I lied, immediately spin it. Commentator first strikes again. And GGAC+R gets the connection, takes round one, and goes up with first blood here in game one.
And nicely done. That gold burst into Master of Puppets, just that control with the poison damage. And just, you know, Slayer can't help but take a couple of hits, trying to get around just like that. A small little web. Once again, greets him as he's just trying to navigate through. At least the tree is gone, but a great warrant to stop. It's late. We are no longer under pressure, although we punish, but too far away for any combo.
Yeah, unfortunate there for 8-Man. Correctly read the Nightmare Circular, but just out of range to get the full confirm, so GGAC+R does escape. We're pretty even here right now on everything. Meter life, but GGAC+R gets the connection. No knockdown, though, so 8-Man escapes, but runs immediately into the tree. Probably tried to backdash there, nothing doing. The EXEBs catches, and now 8-Man in the corner. Good patience and gets the dead angle. Does escape. Goes for the empty low, and the double cross-up. And big bang upper, and 8-Man out of nowhere stealing that round with the double cross up. That is sick nasty, my man. Very impressive.
That was super cute. Going to this next round, where GGAC+R's probably shaking his head like, right, fool me once with the tricky stuff. You got it. Put a jump heavy. Gets past the trees and all this web. Air dash in, no anti-air, 2S or a 6P, but it's okay because we get the 5K, jump 2K loops. Almost had the knockdown, but it's Nightmare Circular. Counter hit though. A little bit of pressure here. GGAC+R stuck in this corner. One more huge hit right there. Doesn't want to go to big man upper though. Wants to hit for dead on time.
Not enough to OTG, but hits with the overhead. GGAC+R down to the magic pixel, not FDing when the force break dandy comes out. So 8-Man, after GGAC+R does what GGAC+R does best in that first round, just went in and did not relent and earns game one for the Trouble.
No, that was it all came down to the mind breaker. Hit him with just like the brain scrambler, double cross up, dandy step, and it's like all bets are off at that point.
Yeah, you got a character in Slayer that has an overhead and feint, really good meaty lows, and then you just watch as someone's like, but what if I just did dandy step for 38 frames and then hit you with the pile bunker anyway? So absolutely just one of those things where you watch it unfold and you're like, wait a minute. By the time you realize what's going on, clipped for the Troubles. So, but GGAC+R, we've seen this time and time again. You cannot rattle this man. He's just unfazed. He's been hit by every grimy thing in Guilty Gear history. So he knows that it's part of the deal when you sign up to play +R. And as you can see, back in control right now, utilizing that screen pollution, getting the curse mark on, double trees hitting. Going to go in for Master of Puppets, set up that win con. Our season, interestingly enough, just to get the tree out immediately. Another catch. There's at least two. Now all three empowered objects are on the screens. Not going to matter. The throw's going to take it. And just like the first game, GGAC+R up 1-0 after our first round.
Hell of a grab there, and then the whip punish with the Badlands. Off to the corner you go. Enjoy being your hard knockdown. To get a little more bar after this, we get that Master of Puppets pushes. We got it just there. It builds up so much meter, that sequence. Not a huge, I mean, a quarter of life is still a lot. And then all of this more afterwards is crazy good.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things that makes Testament so terrifying is you get hit by something that looks fairly innocent, and next thing you know, they're going from 20% bar to a full, 50, and you're got Master of Puppets on, and this is exactly what happens. Just nowhere to move for 8-man. Does connect with the 2D, but gets caught by the net on the recovery. Jacob Pat not able to finish, but another net placement catches the tech and an immediate turnaround. Jacob Pat not going home just yet, and we're even at 1 apiece in losers semis here in top 8 at TNS plus R number 3.
Crazy way to end that. Jacob Pat's like clashing with the 6P and then getting a punish afterwards was one thing, right? And then just managing, like, what does Slayer hate? He hates this web. This 2D is a great button to whip punish from Slayer, but it doesn't take away a web. I mean, he just stands right up. It's a face full like he's in the attic. He hasn't cleaned it up there in decades. And right now, looks like Jacob Pat is the one trying to clean this up to get to losers finals, who will be meeting ElvenShadow in a 1st to 3 to see who can keep going through. Counter hit with the trade combo. Not what you want to see, but EXE Beast, a big homie, making things really nice.
Yeah, one of the more difficult parts of fighting Testament is you will get those trade situations, whether it's a net or an EXE Beast, and almost always it's a trade that ends up in Testament's favor and just makes it real difficult to try and work around. Now with the skull up, 8-man stands up. I like that. Just opted to stand up, take the curse, and then dead angle out, knowing he didn't really have an avenue of escape, and takes advantage. But Jacob Pat does land the burst to get out of the corner and now starts the offense, gets the overhead. He should have enough here. Full confirm, and Jacob Pat on set point.
Accident again. Under 6P does the job, but a dandy step into the crosswise heel. Immediate warrant, but the punish is good and gets out of the corner with the dandy step. Gets a delayed hit, almost a full combo. But a great round here is 8-man is just punishing everything almost effortlessly.
Goes into the empty low, immediately into dead on time, and just like that, we are going to final game, final round, losers semis. Jacob Pat and 8-man trying to earn the right to go take on ElvenShadow in losers finals, and right out the gate, Jacob Pat with a full confirm. Is he going to build enough for Master of Puppets? Yes, he will, and the win con is on deck. And now, how does 8-man navigate this situation? Blocks one tree, so that's one part of it, but gets punished on the sweep, and now is going to go straight back into the corner. No, Jacob Pat opts to set up with the empowered net and tree to get the poison, but the burst is not baited. But now Mangetsu with very little resources and spends 50% to try and confirm, nothing doing, and now the net, and that is going to do it. Good lobbies and a community that's like, hell yeah, we love us some old sicko games, so... Yep, this is one I have seen countless times as an old Midwestern Guilty Gear head, and so here we go. Jacob Pat versus ElvenShadow in losers finals. 1st to 3 will punch a ticket to try and get the run back against XPHANTOM. Here we go.
All right, already all the BS. We see curses, succubi, meteors, bombs, everything all at once. There's gonna be so much more. This is like all of the sounds and the special ASMR you can only get in this game, and I don't think anyone can relax hearing all this.
Absolutely not. No, this is a chaos matchup of all time. One character puts stuff on the screen that knows exactly what it's going to do, and the other character puts even more on the screen with no idea what it's going to do until it comes out. So adaptation is going to be the key in this matchup. Can both players adjust to whatever items end up on the screen out of Faust's bag? And right now, just as you would expect, real close in round 1. Jacob Pat's already burned the burst. The warrant's baited, but no full punish, but runs into the overhead. ElvenShadow dead angles, runs up, gets the last hit of the 2K, catches Jacob flinching, and ElvenShadow draws first blood up 1-0 in losers finals.
It would be cool to see if Jacob Pat's 2H was able to invuln the 6 heavy if they just delayed it just a little bit more. But unfortunately eats so much damage, just like they're eating it here, and that's a lot of meter for ElvenShadow as well. The scalpel pull full combo gives him so much bar. Gets the item super. Another meteor here into mini Faust and more pressure off the instant overhead and the whiff punish on the burst. All of that just adding up so much. ElvenShadow in full control.
Yeah, mini Robo coming in, really holding down the getting ElvenShadow nicely, but gets caught by the dust with a crank guard page, and this is gonna be a grip. My goodness, into Master of Puppets, and now we have an even matchup, but with empowered trees on deck. ElvenShadow trying to FD jump and does make his way out and catches with the item and somehow navigates that massive confirm from GGAC+R and takes game one. That got real scary for a second.
Well, hammer is like the perfect item when players just want to like grit their teeth and charge forward. It is so daunting and so easy to accidentally get hit by it. You saw GGAC+R after the tech air dash forward and then just ate it to the face. So rough going there, but that is the fighting Faust.
Yep.
There's going to be funny little things. Some will be worse than others, or dust invulnerability. First time we see that from ElvenShadow being represented.
Yeah, a thing that we'll see ElvenShadow bust out in very specific situations, but gets the burst air grab. The soul has been taken, and ElvenShadow owes GGAC+R $1, and also a whole lot of his life bar as the poison ticks on. The combo is confirmed, and this could wrap it up with the poison tick now. Nope, just ends in time, but a far S closes it out. And GGAC+R says, all right, I'm ready. I'm back in the game. Let's go. 1-0 game 2.
Such a hilarious way. The net into just soul steal. And now look how powered up GGAC+R is. ElvenShadow wants his soul back. It's not going to be easy to get that right now as he's just taking everything on the chin. Big damage off the nest. Into the Master of Puppets here. Oh no, just going to set up a knockdown.
Yeah.
Overhead, good block after the fuzzy jump, but you're still in such a bad spot.
Yep, and the tree catches. No knockdown, though. 6H was a little high, so ElvenShadow does escape, but gets clipped by another tree. Wow, the maximum hero burst. ElvenShadow done with this GGAC+R momentum. Excuse me, not a hero burst. Forgot we were already in round 2, so I take that back. Necessary burst. But either way, GGAC+R says, all right, that game 1 wasn't exactly what I wanted. Game 2, that's how Testament works.
No, everything coming up. 100%. That was kind of how the winners finals was. ElvenShadow had a good read on the momentum and was in control, but then afterwards, the opponent, in this case, this time GGAC+R, turning up the heat right into game number 3. Try to 2H, gets tagged here, but the scalp pull is not going to combo, and GGAC+R now finding some good pressure and keeping ElvenShadow in this corner.
Yeah, this time ElvenShadow jumps out of the 5D, nice use there, and is able to get out. Baits the dead angle, no punishment, gets the 6H, and then the burst comes out, so a bit of a weird sequence, but works out well for ElvenShadow, does earn the burst, but ends up cornered, and wow, Mini Faust coming in, does break up the combo. It almost extended thanks to the net, but ElvenShadow does make the escape and has a little bit of a life lead to work with. Nice catch on the jumping heavy, not quite enough to close it out, but a jump dust counter hit, and ElvenShadow says, I can't go down this round 2. Opts to burst with the 2K anti-air, still not quite enough to close it out, trying to get that last bit of life. Nice. Very, very smart. Bomb on the ground. That's the kind of awareness elite Faust players have. Says, you're probably not going to want to block that, so let's go up, rip you in the sky. Oh, ElvenShadow tries to respond to dust with his own. Nothing doing because of the delay, and now in the corner against GGAC+R.
Fights a way out, though. Nice 2P into 2H. Just having some room here. The drills to get rid of a lot of those nets. And avoid the situation. Hard knockdown, catching the backdash, but the warrant immediately going to avoid it. And now ElvenShadow in the corner, poisoned. Blocks the overhead, though avoiding taking too much damage, but the Gravedigger and some OTG is going to make it a one-touch scenario. Although we get extra credit. Not a hard knockdown, but at least it's something.
Yep. The EXE Beast, though, closes that round out, and now GGAC+R looking to go up 2-1. All-important third game here as we go to the final round. ElvenShadow, both players with their burst on deck. Nice catch with the crouching heavy. No full confirm, though. GGAC+R with the tech Badlands gets the knockdown. Does not bait the burst, though, so ElvenShadow escapes out. Nice bait of the warrant, no punish, and earns a dead angle for the trouble, but now in the corner. Nice challenge there with the 5P from ElvenShadow, and both players trying to find their footing and get some offensive advantage here. Oh, the net was still there, and ElvenShadow eats it. gonna go to the corner. Jacob Pat almost certainly, no, does not build up enough for Master of Puppets. I lied, and now back to the center.
We're getting extra big reads here, super jumps to beat people trying to wake up throw or OS throw. It's not enough for ElvenShadow to escape. The Gravedigger's gonna do it 2 times after the 5D. Was a big read. ElvenShadow didn't quite work out, and now 2-1 as Jacob Pat needs one more to meet XPHANTOM at Grand Finals. ElvenShadow with one last chance here to stay in it and try to tie this up 2-2 and take us to a final game, but it is the Jacob Pat show right now. Always a little ahead. ElvenShadow trying to chase and catch this demon. Can he do it?
Yeah, it's so tough because this is one of those things. Faust is a character that is not afraid to trade. A lot of times, if he trades with the far end of a normal or an item, that usually ends up in his favor. But in this matchup, it's so easy for Testament to take a trade and turn it into a full conversion. So we're going to see how ElvenShadow adjusts it. Right now, he is all over Jacob Pat, trying to stun him. Drops the combo, but then slams down with the pogo, and ElvenShadow with the perfect to kick off Game 4. That is a must-have. Up 1-0. Block Badlands, going to take the throw for the punish and start the pressure.
Ooh, nice. I like the air dash afterwards just to keep that pressure going. Tech into a web, gets eaten alive, and looks like ElvenShadow missed the FTC cancel, trying to cancel the drill, and instead jump into the corner. Tough spot as they take a lot of damage, but at least gets rid of the webs with jump heavies, jump drills, and more.
All right, ElvenShadow has to burst, opts to get out of the corner that way. The Force Blade chop is blocked but not punished. Now we go back to neutral. There's at least one net sitting out there right now. Jump H does get rid of it. Another one's placed. ElvenShadow trying to navigate all the screen pollution. The bomb connects, so Jacob Pat in the corner, but the Nightmare Circular on the wake-up puts Jacob Pat on the verge. Set point trying to go to Grand Finals against ElvenShadow. Jacob Pat already going in, pushing ElvenShadow to the corner. Catches with the knockdown. No full confirm and has to back off for Mini Robokai, but immediately back in, and Jacob Pat is kind of starting to maul this man.
Yeah, tough spot to be in. The tech, the net is still there. The overhead's good. The burst is going to be there for ElvenShadow as the last chance for the warrant to bait it. Doesn't quite work out as ElvenShadow's patience works out good. Good blocks from Jacob Pat against the jump D off of the mix-up, tricks-up. And now ElvenShadow one combo away from dying. The unblock gets bursted. Far slash counter hit. Goes under the jump. Bomb on the... warrants the bomb. Has none of it and finishes the job with a nice Gravedigger. That was super good.
What a smart play from Jacob.
Reset and a continuation, or will XPHANTOM dominate once more? Are you ready? Heaven or hell? Let's rock.
Absolutely. 2 of the Titans in +R North America going to put on a show for us. We start Grand Finals, and XPHANTOM immediately draws first blood, pushes Jacob back to the corner, and earns a burst within the first 10 seconds of the round. Can't ask for a better start than that, but gets caught by the warrant, but nice escape immediately, and just right back in. Absolutely relentless. So
the amount of clashes I've seen from Jump P is as XPHANTOM has put out so many great hitboxes to deny like just pokes, and then you see the DPs on the ground to deny pokes as well as just good reads on all of the opponents when they want to press and when they want to challenge. Gets the supers to lock you down. Jacob Pat just defending as hard as they can and finds a knockdown finally.
Yeah, does finally get a knockdown, but XPHANTOM spending all of the resources to doing his best impression of Slayer having jumping 2K and just being like, all right, I can do this too. It's going to cost me some cash, but we can get there. And sure enough, manages to go through and baits out the warrant for the corner grab. Going to get the full combo. Looking for a burst at the end. Nothing doing but maintains pressure. But Jacob Pat catches a throw and now is going to earn the corner. See if XPHANTOM wants to try and burst in this. Does not. The tree is there. Good defense, though, on the overhead. Good patience to hop out, but gets nipped by the tree. And no escape yet as XPHANTOM is stuck in the corner. I lied. Gunblaze escape. Jacob Pat opts to burn his burst, and we go back to center with XPHANTOM once again on the offensive.
Good hard knockdown and a good anti-air. Saw the air backdash, converts into massive damage, and now it's a guess for game scenario. Try to neutral jump to catch Jacob Pat, trying to press or even guess. And the far slash takes that first game as Phantom's awareness, conversions, and just technical ability shines through once more for game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Catching Jacob Pat in the air and realizing he had level 2 Savage Fang is flat out, I think, the fastest super in the game. If not, it's real close. And if you're not FDing when that comes out, you are going to get clipped. So, like you said, just excellent situational awareness from XPHANTOM, knowing when to push his advantage, knowing when he has to give a little bit of breathing room. But once he gets on top of Jacob Pat, other than a stray trade here and there, he's having a real hard time keeping hold of her soul off of him.
Yeah, I mean, those early levels, right? Powering up the rocket, powering up the Bandit Revolver, it just lets XPHANTOM get in your face and keep that advantage so consistently. Even the DP you saw get whiffed, Jacob Pat didn't want to try to swing and actually get punished by the follow-ups to it. Finally getting some EXE beasts out, spending some bards to keep this pressure. Has a tree, but the charge is good. Level 2's available right now for Phantom to bust out if he can find the opportunity, and walking to find it, tried the DP, but it got stuffed, and the burst gets stolen too. Jacob Pat, another soul to the collection.
Yeah, it has the soul in his back pocket. It has a ton of meters, so should be able to close this one out. And Jacob Pat, told you, man, you just can't rattle this old man. He does not care. And even after getting mauled in game 1, immediately comes back, gets on the board in game 2. But XPHANTOM right back in there and catches the wake-up grab with Gunblaze. That's going to sting. Gets the maximum confirm out, a charge on the way down, but Badlands clips, and now Jacob Pat has earned the corner. XPHANTOM's been playing good defense, gets caught by the far 6H on the anti-air, and immediately into Master of Puppets, and now trying to navigate all the screen pollution.
Well, smart way to navigate it. Get hit by the backwards beast to push you forward, dead angle, once you get close enough to Testament, but Jacob Pat once more finding a way through, the power up, and the enhanced combo here. It's a great damage, but attack even better from XPHANTOM. Close to taking this round. Level 2 available. The super's going to connect. You try to plant a tree, but I'm burning this damn forest down.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob Pat with a big drop on that enhanced tree and web combo, and unfortunately it does cost him dearly as XPHANTOM gets back on the board. Seeing XPHANTOM flash 6P now to try and deter some of those random grave diggers or jump-ins that Jacob Pat's been using, and now into the corner, a trade, but another trade, jump D after the tech, and Jacob Pat with a nice confirm. Good patience there from XPHANTOM to get a burst, doesn't get it baited, and now is right back on top. Oh. Nice trade, and he's going to cash out some big damage. Does he have enough with the RC? Not quite. Jacob Pat with the tiniest bit of life that gets chased down by the rocket, and just like that, XPHANTOM is on championship point.
Yeah, one more game to seal the deal. Have a almost perfect run. ElvenShadow put a nick in XPHANTOM's armor, but XPHANTOM one more away from putting things away and sending y'all to the City of the Wolves. Can Jacob Pat bounce back with his trademark Testament, or will Holy Order Soul reign supreme? Here we go, game number 3. I've already counter hit crouch slash. There's an early overhead just to add that as an extra factor.
Yeah, I really like what XPHANTOM is doing. He's playing at very specific ranges until he can get on top of Jacob Pat and looking for the intercepts, looking for the knockdown. But yet again, Jacob Pat has earned the corner, but great defense and escape from XPHANTOM using Gunblaze to get out and gets the knockdown. Gets the overhead, but not meaty enough for the combo. Opted not to spin the meters, so Jacob Pat gets away. Warrant is baited. Now knocked down. What's going to be the play? Oh, the trade! Again, with second time we've seen that trade, and yet again, XPHANTOM cashes out the RC into the Dragon Punch whiffs, though, and now Jacob Pat challenges, gets Master of Puppets. The dead angle goes the wrong way, but no punish. Not quite enough, but the DP and XPHANTOM on championship point here at TNS+R number 3. Jacob Pat has to get going right here, right now.
No, I mean, once you start dead angling EXE Beast to get a punish on Testament, using the invulnerability to whip punish, you are on some next level BS as XPHANTOM takes the burst, blocks it out, and this damage incredible, gonna power up to level 2. Jacob Pat nowhere to go, nowhere to hide.
Yeah, Jacob Pat has some meter and does burn it, but gets gripped out of the Nightmare Circular. Gets the off-the-wall tech, and XPHANTOM on the verge of closing out this TNS bracket. One more conversion will get it, but Badlands collects. Jacob Pat not done yet, but again, great defense. The slashback whiffs, however, off the drop, but into the net. Another drop from Jacob Pat, and now XPHANTOM does escape once again. Trying to get that key hit. The blockhead into the air grab, and XPHANTOM is your TNS plus R number 3 champion.